is who John Mitchell has selected. Bottoman, Cockayne and Muir the front row. Tarling and Ward the engine room. Captain Aldcroft, she's across the flank from Cabea with Matthews at the base. Hunt and Harrison the halfbacks. Hurd and Jones in the centres. Breach and Dow out wide. And Kildunn at fullback. It's then a 5-3 split on the bench, where the most notable inclusion probably is Holly Aitchison wearing 22, given how tight that tussle is for the keys at 10 for this England side. But is that an England side that you think is the right selection? Do you think if Holly Aitchison hadn't been injured, it would have been a different side running out for this? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that Holly, without that injury, I think she plays 10. I think that it's a big call to have played her at 10. I think the safe choice is Zoe, because she's got more game time in her legs. I think I would have been tempted to have a Claudia McDonald in there. I really back her as a winger, so at least coming off the bench or possibly starting in that left wing spot, because I've not seen her in the knockout phases so far. But yeah, other than that is a very, very strong side.
Just confirming for you then that Canada are lying in wait in the final, which will take place next Saturday at 4 o'clock at a sold-out Allianz Stadium in Twickenham. So the world number 2's home and hose. This pits number 1 against number 4, but what different journeys they have had to get to this point. England with the Grand Slam victories in their warm-ups, and then last week's result against Scotland taking them up to 31 matches unbeaten, breaking their own record streak, and a streak that dates all the way back to that fateful afternoon at Eden Park against New Zealand in the last World Cup final. For France, it's been turmoil. There have been doubts cast over their coaching setup, over their structures, over the robustness of their domestic competition. It was woeful in their own backyard in their sole warm-up match, and then ill discipline against the Irish in their quarter-final, in which they ran out narrow 18-15 victors, has cost them 2 talismans and an injury, another one in the week. So, Kat, I think I know where your prediction is going to lie, but what do you want to see from England today?
I want to see it click. I want to see the ability to utilise their backs. Now, don't get me wrong, if I want England to win the World Cup, and I don't care if they kick and maul and just do that all day. Don't care, doesn't matter. You just want to win. But what you do need to have in the locker is a functional working backline as well, because otherwise teams, if they just draw you out of that game, and or suddenly your line out ball is matched and they manage to defend it, then what else? What have you got? So that needs to click for me today. I want France to step up. I want France to put in a huge performance, so England actually get used to getting hit, because the hits last night, Canada were absolutely smashing New Zealand. They're physically prepared. They've took big hits. England haven't yet, and that might cost them.
So would you say France are a good preparation for Canada, potentially, for the Red Rose, with the muscular forwards, with the offloading game, with the quickness of rucks, with the nines that function as playmakers?
Yeah, I mean, you've got to look at it from France's perspective. Like, they have the ability to really play loose, smart rugby as well, and Canada obviously shown that they can play that speed with it. And they do have physicality, but again, they just need to show up. I've been saying this about France for, I think, 5-6 years now. I'm just like, you have so much potential, like so much, and it just doesn't click. You look at there's world-class players there, like Pauline Baudon-Sansu, like at 9 for France, one of the best 9s in the world. But like, it just doesn't quite translate in their performance.
You actually made that point over breakfast this morning. You're full of good points, Kat Merchant. But over your poached eggs and me over my Marmite and jam bagels, we were talking about the fact that there is a curious disconnect between the names on the French team sheet and, at the moment, the way that they play is less as the sum of their parts.
Yeah, definitely, because I look at this fixture before the team sheets come out, and you're like, right, England by 20. Then the team sheets come out, and you're like, oh, yes, France are really good. And you're going down the shirts, and you're like, hang on, wait, how are France not better? They've got players like Gabby Vernier in at centre. She's world class as well. They've got such great players, but just it doesn't seem to, they can't put it all together.
Well, the fans are here in their droves, and as we look out, and luckily the rain has eased up. There was a bit of drizzle during the warm-ups, but it's brightening now here in Bristol, right on cue, because the World Cup banner has been unfurled on the immaculate pitch here at Ashton Gate. We have an England flag and a France flag stretched out, almost covering the entire 22s, and the supporters here have really got the memo when it comes to fancy dress. We know that the French fans will be here in their berets, with their stick-on moustaches, with their neckerchiefs. But Kat, you've been pestered for photos at every turn today by people dressed as knights in shining armour, people dressed as poppies. It's fantastic.
Oh, it's really, really great. And you just know how much the game has grown, because maybe you used to be able to wander around and not many people know. I walk through to go to the toilet and there's people going, that's Cat Merchant. And, and you hear it and you're like, it's just cool, because the interest in women's rugby has just grown and grown and grown, and I love it. And games last night are the reasons why, the quality of the players on the pitch.
And you know it's getting serious, because last night and again today, the trophy is here at the ground. It's in the mouth of the tunnel, newly designed for this, the 10th edition of the competition. It's got this beautiful, complex, spiralling design on its gold coating, which brings together all the different nations who compete in the World Cups in a swirling plug hole pattern. It's gleaming now as the sun threatens to peep out from beneath grey skies here, and the players emerge into the tunnel.
I'm looking, we got our screens here, they're showing us the French players coming out that changing room. They don't look like they've got it, they look nervous. England are walking out like confident, they've got heads up, they're stern in their expression, they're like ready. But France, that's worrying, the faces that they're pulling right now.
I'm glad you feel the same, because that's what I thought when we had footage of the dressing rooms earlier on. They were speaking softly in groups amongst themselves. I didn't see a single smile split a face, whereas England arrived as though they were turning up for a training day, for a community training session. They were so buoyant.
Yes, and it's that I don't mind someone being really focused, and like, you don't have to be smiling, laughing or dancing or any of that, but like just that real focus, determination, and not to look sad and a bit like it could all be over, which is I think what they look like.
Well, it was not the fairy tale ending for Ruahei Demant last night, who was making her 50th appearance for New Zealand, the co-captain of that side, one of their talismans. They wanted to do it for her. They wanted to channel the emotion of all of that. And France have spoken in the week about how they want to channel the hurt of the suspensions they have suffered. And they're also well aware that their co-captain, Marine Ménager, who starts on the wing today, she's retiring after this competition. These might be her final meaningful 80 minutes in those blue jerseys. And the blue jerseys line up to our right now. Red socks, royal blue, England in crisp white anthem jackets, flags fluttering in the breeze as we all settle in to enjoy the national anthems here in Bristol. Pyrotechnics bill has got bigger and bigger as this competition has progressed, and never flamier than this afternoon. The emotions, they were writ large on the faces of the French women, their Cat Merchant World Cup winner alongside me, as England break off into tight white huddle, and France pick up tackle pads. Those were unprecedented tears for this competition.
Yeah, that was a lot. I mean, players could sometimes have a little tear during an anthem because it means so much, but that was full floods from about 5 of the French team. So hopefully they can channel that and bring it to this game, but I'm nervous for them.
Well, they're going to have to channel it. They're going to have to do something remarkable, because France have never reached a World Cup final. They are inarguably the best team to have never done so. 8 times previously we have seen them through to the last 4, a record only bettered by England, who now cross through the blue jerseys and over to the right hand side of the pitch, ready to do battle, looking to find themselves in yet another big dance. In the middle today, and earning her first World Cup semi-final, is New Zealand referee Maggie Cogaor, who oversaw that bananas afternoon at the Allianz Stadium in Twickenham back in April. Clara Monarini and Kat Roach will patrol the touchlines, and it is Rachel Horton on TMO duties. So England in white and playing from right to left. France all in blue, and a need to find, well, a rabbit in a hat, something special, something unprecedented. This, though, in Bristol for the right to play for gold against Canada in front of 82,000. A final outing for some in blue. For England, not even contemplating such things, however many legends might be lining that pitch, because they will not consider Everest conquered, as they said in the week, until they lift that trophy gleaming before us, below us, at the home of English rugby in 7 days' time. Bosserman, Cockayne and Muir, Tarling and Ward, Aldcroft, Cabea and Matthews, Hunt and Harrison, Hurd and Jones in the centres, a back three of Breach, Dow and Kildun. The 15 women tasked by John Mitchell and the bulk of this crowd in ensuring that they will meet Canada in one of the biggest matches in English rugby history. Carla Alves has the ball for the French, the fly half who wore that 10 jersey back in April and who masterminded a quite brilliant comeback, because if we know one thing when France are in town, it's that it's not over until the final whistle goes, and you're going to need to hold on tight to that popcorn. And that start, inauspicious from the English, looked like it was knocked on by Zoe Aldcroft, but France have it back. So with it now is Rose Bernardi, the tight head prop in the centre of the field. Arbez finding Vernier. Escudero, player of the match last week against Ireland, can't gather. So we're playing knock-on advantage, and England's restarts continue to haunt them, Kat.
Yeah, I mean, the opening game against USA, the kick-off receipts were woeful. They were really bad. They've been pretty good since then. I think they managed to fix it, but you know, when you just feel like that might happen as well, like off the kickoff, you just sense that they might start with that, and it's a nightmare start, because you start with an error, your heads go down, but for France, perfect opportunity, a scrum right on this right hand side, the whole of the pitch out to the left with dangerous backs out there. They're going to be wanting to play this.
I'm going to have to start calling you Mystic Merchant. All right, our first scrum of the afternoon. Blue packing down against white with 60 seconds gone of this semi-final. It's Brosseau, Gerin and Bernardou in the front row for Les Bleus. It is one of the most ferocious scrums in this whole draw. Bourdon-Sansu, the scrum half feeds. They leave it in, and Tayani Fele, who rises from the base, shrugs off Hunt. Harrison makes the tackle, but France are into the 22, ball in hand. Condé, the centre, finding Albe out on the wing. She's on an arcing run, and it's just about tackled by Abby Dow. But England going backwards in defence here, and France 6 metres out. What a start this would be. Bourdon-Sansu picking out one of the big runners in Bernardou. Now this is Brosseau, the two props in tandem. Bosserman with the tackle, and still the distance is 6 metres. England penalty, and surprise, surprise, it's Hannah Bosserman who's done the job.
It's why she's so important. Every single game she plays in, she will get a turnover penalty, a holding on penalty for the team in her own 5 metre line. She's just so good in those areas, and so they've really got out of pressure there. Now, one area that France do cause England problems, and we have seen them do before, is out wide. The back three, not often tested defensively in this England side, and France are certainly a team that do that.
Take him back.
Hannah Bosselman, of course, back in the squad after that back spasm, saw her removed from the field of play against Australia and rested last week in the quarter-final against Scotland. Arbez stumbles in the backfield, just inside her own half, but gets it onto fullback Morgane Bourgeois. So willowy and really clattered there by Ward. Spotting space is Bourdon Sansu, and Ellie Kildun gets her hands on the ball for the first time in her own 22. Skins the first defender, skins the second, skins the third and the fourth. What a return to wearing a red rose for Ellie Kildun. She's carried them up to the 10-metre line in their own half. Cabella with a carry, writhing on the ground there to get it placed backwards, and they're trading kicks, these fly halves. Plenty of variety already. That a little dab over the top from Harrison. Arbez is the one to gather, and bodies flock to the breakdown for France because England were contesting hotly there. Escudero carrying down the wide channel on that far touchline, up over halfway in that distinctive red scrum cap. Brosso, the prop, plays scrum half, because somewhere at the bottom of all of that was Pauline Bourdon Sansu, who now jogs around right in the centre of the park onto Arbez. Quick ruck ball this for the French, but the line speed from England even better. What an introduction to a World Cup playoff match for Ina Ikahenyi that was. France's young forward tackled. Really nicely judged kick, just outside England's 22, so Kildun couldn't call a mark. She returns it down that 15-metre channel. Arbez pops one up, gathered by Breach. The French fly half makes her tackle. So, England's ball. And we know that these two sides like to kick from hands a lot, but my words, they're getting the reps in early. 4 minutes played and only one break in play. Kildun has it now, pins her ears back into the 22, one to beat, does so with consummate ease. And with a waggle of a knowing finger, Ellie Kildun has England's first. And with less than 5 minutes on the clock, they have a try against Les Bleus, and the World Player of the Year is back doing Player of the Year things.
Yeah, I think England needed that. Ellie Kildun needed that. She's had a quiet tournament so far. She then had that concussion, and then so to come back and deliver there is a great try. She takes it from behind her with one hand, and the absolute gas there, and then footwork as well. The audacity. She could have scored out in the corner because the defence was coming across, but she decided to step her and go for under the posts.
Zoe Harrison will look to convert this from almost in front of the stick. She's been kicking at 71%, but that's 100 for the day so far. England leading in the second World Cup semi-final in Bristol, 7 points to 0. Thank you for joining us here on Sports Extra.
Yeah, really great early try from them as well, because really France had the majority of the ball, so yeah, really good to get that in.
Really good from England. But if we're going to hold France to the standards that we discussed pre-match, the capacity of this team, that was all too easy.
Oh yeah, Conda at the centre, she gave up. She saw Kildun and went, I can't catch her. And that's the problem. They need to believe. You chase no matter what, because actually as she's doing that footwork, maybe they make a cover tackle. So she gave up there.
Well, Narissa Condé is an Olympic silver medalist from Tokyo with the French sevens team, so she knows better than anyone that you chase, because athletes drop balls over lines.
Yeah, so I don't know, but you saw it, she just gave up at the 50-metre mark.
Well, this is exciting because Tayani Feleou, wearing 8, is carrying the ball into English territory. She makes it up to over halfway, and it's slow ruck ball for the number 9, Bourdon Sansu, la petite générale, they would say in France, who pulls the strings and acts as their relentless metronome. She allows Brosso to carry, and then it's a left-footed dink from Arbez, gathered nicely by Jones. And I'll tell you what, Kildun is feeling it today, because she gets a couple of steps away before she's tackled. Bosselman on a lovely line, managed to deceive the whole French defensive set there and just gobble up 10 metres. England's ball with plenty of options towards this near touchline, and up over halfway through Jess Breach, running over the same blades of grass as Ellie Kildun just did, but much less successfully. She's hauled into touch.
Yeah, as a winger, it's, you really want to avoid the touchline, obviously, so needed to step back in there.
So it will be a French line out from just inside their half, right beneath us here at Ashton Gateway. You can't see a single seat, but it's red seating, crimson red, to just match the home side's colours. Steep banking too, but we have an immaculate view of Agathe Chérin, one of the most experienced operators in this Les Bleus outfit. She's sent that ambitiously long, and it's just about clung to by Théani Felleye, wearing 8 today, just as she does in the Six Nations team of the championship. What a campaign she had, and what a mouth-watering matchup that is between her and Alex Matthews of England. Abby Ward picks up, swings around and slams down Bourdon Sansu, and they win themselves a penalty. France, dead centre field.
Turnover is okay. Tackle slipped up.
So it was the height of the tackle, which it did look like Abby Ward as she was arriving. She wanted to scrag Bourdon Sansu, but just didn't manage it in the right way.
Scrum called.
France, perhaps unsurprisingly, go for the scrum. They win penalties with consummate ease at this particular set piece right now.
Yeah, interesting though, because England do have a really good scrum as well, and they're right in the middle of the pitch right now. So most of the time you would try and get a tactical advantage by going for a line out, but midfield scrum is one of the most beautiful places to attack from, because you split the field defensively, and so one side you're going to have an overlap.
Beautiful and scrum from Kat Merchant in the same sentence. You feeling all right?
Yeah.
8 minutes played, and the world number ones are leading 7-0, with Canada to face next week for all the marbles. Watching on is Fabien Galtier in those distinctive sort of fashion sunglasses, sort of swim goggles. You can never quite tell. Scrum collapses, so we will have a reset. Just to remind you, in the Premier League over on 5 Live, Brighton are hosting a high-flying Spurs in the Premier League. Tottenham looking to make it 4 wins out of 5 for the start of their campaign, and Brighton Hove Albion a second victory of theirs. And if you can hear cheers here in Bristol, it's because Kevin Rouet is in the stands, Canada's head coach, who masterminded that demolition job against the reigning champions just last night. So, France's scrum.
Girls, what's the problem? Okay, take a further step back so that there's more space, and I'll look at the break foot. I need you to stay in the scrum because it's dangerous. I understand. Let me manage it, okay? Reset. Yep, a little bit is okay. It has to be cleared. I'm going to watch it. I didn't see it there, but I will look now, okay? Let's go. Keep this. No, you don't chase her. They're the attack. They set the distance. Take a step back, please. So you set. Put your foot where you want it. Is this the distance you want?
Bourdon
Thank you.
Sansu
Stay there then. Stay there.
with the ball under one bicep, those distinctive auburn waves down her back, looking to feed this and get France's back line purring. We caught a glimpse of it with the Arbe carry early doors, but they haven't really fired a shot since.
No, since that since England dropped the kick-off really and allowed France to get into them, but the scrum really not
Time off. Front rows, come.
functioning right now, so referee's going
All three of
to
you,
have
come.
a word here.
Okay. We are 10 minutes into the game. We've already had this many resets. Take some responsibility. Feet underneath. Patience on the calls. Or I will start free kicking people, and you will not like 50% of the decisions. Do you understand? Yes. Let's go.
I like that. You will not like 50% of the decisions. She's going to go one either way.
Hannah Bosman looked like a naughty school kid during that entire lecture. She had a mouthguard tucked behind one ear and a smirk the size of a Bristolian hot air balloon across her face. That was wonderful to watch. Okay, attempt number 4, just before us in the commentary gantry. Brian Moore is having the time of his life.
I was just looking at that. He's animated. It's his time to shine. He gets to talk about reset scrums.
Didn't know you could see a smile through the back of a bald head. He's loving it.
Pointing at screens. He's got this.
We have liftoff. Morgan Bourgeois off the back of that scrum, and with a wending run back into the midfield. France up over the halfway line, and it's Bernadou, the young tight head, never seen without that red scrunchie, carrying hard. Intercept from Amy Cockayne. She's tackled, and it's lost through contact. But how about that from the Red Roses hooker, Marine Ménager, dicing with the touchline, and somehow that extraordinary managed to stay in field, trading coughed up possession here. England on the counter-attack with numbers. Jones kicks it long. It's into the French 22. Arbez has got 3 red roses breathing down her neck and opts to clear it. Does really quite wonderfully under all sorts of pressure. She's got it back up to over halfway. So Harrison jogs it back into the French half. 5 metres from the far touchline. She's tackled. Hunt, England's number 9, rootles for it, and it's an awkward catch for Moena Talling, who's 6'1" and won't have thanked her scrum half for that delivery. Hurd out the back onto Cocaine. England's turn to knock it on.
Oh, Arbez there dealt with a tremendous amount of pressure. She had Kilden running at her, she had Dow running at her, and Meg Jones as well. 3 frighteningly quick players. She managed to gather it up. She's completely on her own and put a really long kick in return.
We're going to talk some more, I'm sure, Kat, over the next couple of hours about where this French team are at. But I do think Carla Arbez epitomises some of the chaos that we are seeing within the FFR and the decision-making of this programme. Head coaches Gaël Mignon and David Ortiz. Carla Arbez fell out of favour as a young fly half with these national coaches for 18 months. She was pulled back in this Six Nations when they had a couple of injuries in the position. So she was playing in the Six Nations as an uncontracted player with a job back in Bordeaux, where she lives and where she works, and here she is at the World Cup in that very same position. But she's some player.
Oh, she really is. She does just bring like an edge where you don't know what she's going to do, which is always so dangerous to play against.
France off the ensuing scrum up to the 10-metre line inside England's half. Scrappy ball on the floor, but there is Arbez finding Falraclo, the towering lock forward, all 6'2" of her. Gerin, who's about a foot shorter, the hooker with a carry. Arbez back onto Arbey. This the winger up over the 10-metre line through the attempted tackle of Cocaine. France going laterally here, just poking and probing, but some of the big runners starting to grow into this game. They look to have settled in the last few minutes. Tayani Feleau picked up, dumped down by Meg Jones, and the ball skittles past Marine Ménager. She somehow gathers, but well grabbed by Talling, who will tackle and tackle and tackle until there is no time left on the clock. Gerin. France have gone backwards from the 10 metres back over the halfway line, and it is ponderous ball for Bourdon-Sansu. Arbez over halfway. 8 phases now from France, trailing England, who leads 7-0 with 14 minutes played in this semi-final, yet to get a single point on the board. And it's a deft offload out the back door from Bourdon-Sansu, but unfortunately she picked out the slender full-back in Bourgeois, who is easily tackled by England. Got 2 in the backfield, England, narrow in defence. They're well aware of the power that France have, and that narrowness means that Marine Ménager is up to over the 10-metre line. Threatening out wide when they get it, the French. Tayani Feleau arriving with a head of steam. She's spilt it. Box kick over the top from Hunt, who's put that out on the full.
Yeah, they would have had the knock-on advantage if she kept it in hand, but kicked the advantage away, and because it's then gone straight out, it's come back. Oh no, they've come back they've come back in and will get the scrum.
Knocked on perhaps from the young number 8 off the back of this tackle that we're being shown replays of in the stadium here by Sadia Kabea.
I know, time is off.
So you're listening to me, Claire Thomas. I've got Kat Merchant with company. We're watching England against France. 15 minutes played, and although France have had the lion's share of possession so far, it's very much the Red Rose who have sat back, let them throw everything at them, and then struck when required. 7-0, they lead the world number force. As Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, just picks up in the stands here in BS3 in Bristol, home of the Bristol Bears, and it's one of their most beloved daughters, Hannah Bosserman, who's wearing number 1 in that England scrum. Hunt feeds, rock solid platform. Harrison is there in the midfield, and she opts to find Jones scurrying around the edge. Is Kildan, and they set up the 2v1, but Arbey just glides across to extinguish that opportunity. Didn't straighten enough there. England didn't commit the young winger, and now they lose the ball through heavy traffic in the midfield. Can't string anything together yet. And there we were talking pre-match about the need for their attack to lay down a marker before taking on that glossy Canadian outfit in the final next week. Dow kicks upfield, doesn't find grass, finds Ménager, and it's Arbez onto Bourgeois in her own half. Now onto Kelly Albay, who as ever looks so languid. Sizes up Tatiana Hurd, who makes the tackle. In over the ball is Meg Jones. Fabulous turnover. England will have the penalty on the halfway line.
Yeah, England really smart at knowing when France are getting isolated. I think Arbe's done fantastically so far, the French winger. She's really causing problems. However, because she's half getting past the first defender, she's ending up isolated, and France aren't getting quick enough to her for that support.
You guys are on that line, okay?
Meg Jones, who is out there in her now trademark Mr. Bump style head tape and that really scraggy bun. Doing sensationally there. England, though, lose the line out. So Arbez hoists up a steepling effort which will fall on the halfway line. No one calls for it. No one gathers it. It bounces twice before Natasha Hunt has it ripped away by her opposite number, Bourdon-Sansu, and it's a very cute kick from Carla Arbez, a 50-22 no less. France will have the line out inside the England 22.
Beautiful 50-22, and this is what you were talking about, what she can bring. She just sees the game so well. There was space back there, it wasn't covered. Beautifully weighted kick for that 50-22.
She kicks off both feet, Carla Arbez. She's a running threat. And as you said, she's so deeply unpredictable.
Kicking off both feet is such a great thing as well, because you don't have to, you can't tell if she's going to kick or pass. She doesn't have to readjust. So defences, they have to be kept guessing.
Well, now the fans are singing, and you can hear Allez les Bleus from the thousands of French men and women and little boys and girls packing this place out. Short line out from the French. And one up runners here. Bernadou next to have a tilt. Léa Champon is in, just clearing out so that Bourdon-Sansu can pick out Brosso. Fal Raclo is lurking behind this particular arc. She would love to run straight at Abby Ward, which she does, but Alex Matthews is in there quickly to shut the door. Now they flow to the short side, the French. 15 metres out. England leading by a converted try. France still donutted, yet to score a thing. Escudero, try last week in the driving wind and rain against the Irish, and here now Bernadou, still 15 metres the difference. They reckon they're coming to the short side. Meg Jones is screaming for help. Fal Raclo with a carry. Now the centre, Narissa Condé beating Jones, beating Cocaine, just about tackled by the third woman in Alex Matthews, but England have it back, and Meg Jones has 2 turnovers in 19 minutes. Dow looking to go it alone, instead finds Kildon, who stands on painted grass.
Harvey, they're really smart. She doesn't even put a tackle in, she just nudges her into touch there. Smart, because I think she knew in a foot race she'd be gone.
Brighter though from France, still yet to score, but so much brighter.
Much better. The one thing that they need to do, if I was France, I'd be putting an extra 2 into every breakdown, just send them flying in, because they are, like, England have 3 turnovers already, 2 from Meg, 1 from Bottoman, and so actually just put more numbers in, make that ball safe, even if it shortens you up for your attack.
Bosman and Jones, the stars of our hit series, Barely Rugby, of course, available on BBC Sounds or wherever you get your podcasts. France get a rumble on at them all. There's 9 metres between them and their first points of the match, but Abby Ward fancies spoiling the power party. On they go, 6 metres the gap. France still with a bit of a head of steam, but surely in a moment the referee will tell Bourdon-Sansu to use it. The warning had come, they didn't listen, and England have the ball back as we hit 20 minutes in the semi-final.
Yeah, France have done really well because they got that moving, but Abby Ward didn't move her positioning, so she's perfectly legal. She gets a hand on that ball, keeps it in, so then when it goes to ground, not playable, England get it. So good from France initially to get the go forward. Fantastic from Ward defensively.
Abby Ward, who plays her club rugby at this very ground, one of the most fulcrum of the Bristol Bears, whose husband Dave Ward coached their women's side until very recently, and playing, I think, some of the best rugby of her career right now.
Yeah, I think she's a big game player, so she really does step up, and especially in a gnarly physical encounter, that's where she's in her element.
And I think gnarly is the perfect word there, Kat Merchant, because England have all the form. They've won the last 16 against France. It was unthinkable to many before kickoff that they wouldn't just find themselves in next week's final against Canada, but they're only leading by 7 points.
Yeah, I think this is this is good for both sides. 7-0, England can be, they've been under some stress, but like for them to pull away now, they'll have learned a lot about themselves. So I'm liking how England are playing. I like that France seem to have brought their A game, although not in that scrum because they've just given a scrum penalty away.
England's defensive scrum comes good. So Zoe Harrison from 5 metres will kick to touch. Boos ringing out because, surprising, perhaps precisely no one that knows her, Amy Cockayne has found herself in a little bit of a scuffle.
The two hookers there just having words, let's say, about that scrum.
I'll tell you what, Agathe Charin up against Amy Cockayne would be some prize fight.
Oh yeah, I'm scared of both of them.
So, Amy Cockayne, who fancies being back in another World Cup final. She scored a hat-trick, remember, in the last one. Will throw in right on the cusp of England's 22, and Harrison rakes a boot through that one. It is up well over halfway, but gathered with consummate ease by Carla Albers. Bourgeois with a little stutter step, but tackled by Cabella. France looking to play out from inside their own half. It's England 7, France 0. That early score from Ellie Kildun, bringing this place to its feet. And they're gripped all right, because this feels like a real arm wrestle. Here's a carry now from Ina Ikaheheni, one of the youngsters in this French side, and they go down to the short side. Bourgeois finding Albay, who really rips through the gears. She's left Abby Dow for dead. It's a selfless tackle in the backfield. Zoe Harrison held her head there, but almost guaranteed to have just saved a try, because Arbay had much too much pace for England's backline, and the likes of Asia Hogan-Rochester and Alicia Corrigan for Canada will be licking their lips. France on the attack. They have the ball and they're into England's 22. It's Marine Ménager back in field. Did she touch the touchline? Touch judge says no, so it's a simple pick and go for Brosseau. France to within a metre. Bourdon-Sansu. France looking for their first points of this semi-final. We've had 22 minutes and England have held them out at every opportunity. 7 phases now, played by Les Bleus. This is all about the heavies. The piano shifters up front. Bourdon-Sansu picks out a Scudero, gets so low. There are so many numbers out wide. England looking to spoil it, the breakdown yet again, but Abby Ward told in no uncertain terms to leave it alone. 9 phases now from France, who are 2 metres out from the try line. England haven't had a sniff of territory since that early score. Here come France. Vernier on an incisive line, but hauled down an inch short. 11 phases. France hunting for that try as Scudero wants it to the left of the sticks. She's only got Harrison to run at, but they keep it tight. Surely the wrong decision. Got to get it out wide. There are so many numbers to either flank. Scudero onto Vernier, onto Narissa Condé, and France have their try.
Finally, they actually passed it out wide. I thought they were going to butcher that because they were just relentlessly picking and going against the England team, which were all within both 15 metres. They were so tight. And then France finally recognised it, got it wide, and great score for them.
Yeah, it's in their face, so she'll check it.
At last, the dam
okay to tell her
bursts.
I'm okay.
Kick still to come from Morgane Bourgeois. She'll be taking that just on the 15-metre cross outside the 22 by her lofty standards. A very straightforward kick.
Okay.
Don't forget, this is
Just a second.
top point scorer
time off on the
in
shot
the
clock.
last Six Nations. Dead-eyed, 5 from 5 at the Allianz Stadium in Twickenham, but they are going to have a look and see if Marine Ménager was in touch.
Yeah, I think it's going to be looking at that.
So you can see what we saw. Marine Ménager wearing 11 for France, co-captain, their winger today. Caught that ball just upon entry to the 22, and everyone in the ground had a sharp intake of breath because it looked for all the world, Kat, like she had stood on that pace.
Yeah, it would be really hard in that position to stay in. But Amy's going, she stood ready, but Amy Cockayne has stood where the line-out would be taken.
There's no knock on and there's no foot in touch.
There we go.
She needs to come back onside. It's fine. And I'm going to restart the shot clock. Yeah. Can you reset the shot clock to 60, please? Let's get England back onside.
So Bourgeois, who was
Try is
5 from 5 at the Allianz Stadium, at a fever pitch Allianz Stadium back in April, and played every minute of that Six Nations Championship, will look to dink this one over on the 24-minute mark and make it a 7-all scoreline. Narissa Condé, the Olympian, the Olympic medalist with the try, and now their fullback needed to add the extras, and no, drifts wide. She's normally so accurate.
So accurate, but it's, you know, pressure moments, and it was just to the left-hand side of the post, not quite going where she needed it to. But a good response from France, because I think if we were looking at this at this point in the game to be 2 points in it at 24 minutes in, I don't think many people had that. I didn't have that. I thought perhaps England would have started stronger.
Right down the centre of the field goes Zoe Harrison's restart, and being held up is Carla Albez. It's Hunt and Jones and now Ward and Muir and Cockayne, and there are world-class players flocking to it. They've stolen it back right before the sticks in the 22.
Yeah, France are stupid there though, because they were the ones who took that down. It was clearly a maul. It was held up. They come flying in, knock it over, and you've just handed possession to England. Just really naive.
Gifting possession back to a team who've had one 22 entry ball in hand and come away with 7 points.
I understand.
So,
that's why the last one, but you keep showing me a good
Hunt
picture.
will feet
Let's go.
Bosserman, Cockayne and Muir, and it's Alex Matthews whose heels will be on the 22. The Red Rose lead by 7 points to 5. Scores traded by Kildun and by Condé as they look to make it through to a 10th World Cup final, where they will take on Canada. In goes the ball, and Harrison and Kildun are in a stack right behind this particular set piece. Hurd out on one touchline with Dow for company, and then just before us it's Breach and it is Jones, but it's to the far touchline they go, and Condé, fresh from scoring that try, makes her tackle on Kildun, and a penalty has been won, and won on the deck by her centre partner Gabrielle Vernier.
Number 12, clearly on the
There's
ball.
still, I think England's backline are performing better, definitely, but there is still a slight air of, are they going to run it, are they going to pass it, and a little bit of mistiming, and that one just led to getting isolated because of that. I think it either needed to go earlier or just carry.
Okay.
England have come on so much ball in hand since the last World Cup, at which 2/3 of their scores involved a line out in some capacity. There's such variety to their game. Lou Meadows' impact as attack coach cannot be overstated, but you're right, it has faltered a smidge.
Well, going right off a scrum picking, you need Ellie Kildun to have that ball in her hand a lot earlier. She got woman and ball as soon as she got caught that she was getting tackled, which is not what you want a quality player like Ellie to have.
It's a world-class back line, but they're doing far more tackling than playing at the moment, but they're missing tackles at this particular moment in time because Morgane Bourgeois has the ball inside England's half. Down she goes. Arbez across the face and onto Escudero. Flat pass at best onto Ikahehenyi. England turnover. Amy Cockayne.
Yeah, France still needed to just put more numbers into that ruck, or just to fight a little bit more before going to floor, because they're just making it a bit easy for this England defence at the minute, which is world class at getting turnovers.
27 minutes gone. It's 7-5 here at Ashton Gate. There's football taking place over on 5 Live. Brighton hosting Spurs. Your 5:30 kickoff is United Chelsea, and that will be followed as ever by 6:06 with Chris Sutton and Roman Kemp. England bring it down safely from the line out, and they are inside France's 22 now. Sadia Kabea right at the back of a throng of white jerseys, which continues to tiptoe forwards. France getting awfully narrow in defence. Hugging that far touchline is Abby Dow, but Hunt can't connect with Hurd. It's scrappy off the back of that, and there's no way that try will be awarded.
No, can't be. She's going to look at it, but it went forward. Hunt was through a gap there. She didn't need to give that. I'm not sure why she passed it to Hurd, because unless we've just completely misjudged this, and Hurd has scored that, of course.
Live, I think that actually might have gone backwards off blue 12. And then it's regathered, but it's very tight.
Yeah, started from my point of view was forward.
Okay, so we have to check. Okay, Rachel, we're going to come to you.
That second voice there,
So
Clara
on
Monorini, our
field, my
Italian
decision is
touch
I
job.
have a try because I have a grounding. The last passage there, I just need to check if it's gone backwards off blue or it's been knocked on by white.
And the voice you're about to hear, our Australian
On field is
TMO,
a try.
Rachel
We're checking for a
Horton.
potential knock-on before.
Yeah, perfect, thanks.
Let me know when you're there.
Yeah, we thought
we're here now.
initially it had come off of
Just the
Tatiana
left
Hurd,
hand.
but
Okay.
is it Vernier that comes off? I
Okay,
think
so
that's
it
off
does come
Tatiana
off
Hurd.
12 blue, but then it comes off 12 white's left hand into her own
forward.
player. So obviously we can't play on. But is the first knock on off 12, Rachel? Can we just see that part again?
We'll get that for you.
Just maybe that other angle.
Don't agree with that.
Yeah.
It looks
Comes back
all
off
the
Vernier.
world.
Shoulder,
Yes.
blue 12 shoulder first.
Blue 12's shoulder is the first forward. Can we just see it again, Rachel? Because I think it's really tight.
I'll get the tight again.
Thank you.
So it's Gabby Vernier and Tat Hurd here, the two 12s, and it's just a matter of who it
I
came
actually
off
agree.
first.
So I think the clear knock on here is off White's 12, so it's going to be a blue
which is what we
scrum.
thought.
Agreed?
Oh, we've got this covered,
Okay.
Claire. Like,
Rachel,
we
do
can tell
have
you
any
from
other
up
facts on
here.
those? I think the clear is the same.
Dad.
No need for
Perfect.
TMO, you
Come
got
back to
us.
we have a decision.
Mystic Merchant strikes
Okay,
again.
it's gonna be no try. It's been lost forward by White. Blue scrum.
What I think we can also read into that, Kat, the series of knock-ons that we've seen, the number of scrums that we've had, the fact that we've had 12 points scored in 28 minutes between these two sides, is that Canada will be watching on with their bubble tea, of course, in their cozies, and they're not overly worried so far, because last night was being played at a far higher standard and pace than this.
Oh, absolutely. I don't think Canada are too worried looking at this, but also I think I'm going to need this test. I'm still worried about that timing issue, like Hunt and Hurd. That should be Hunt picks it, Hurd runs an inline, that's a try. But instead, it's overran, it's then knocked on, and it's too messy.
France's turn to have a defensive scrum, and England have gone to town on them. Big penalty, won by England, a roar of defiance from Hannah Bosserman. Hunt shaping to go quickly.
Scrum. You've just dominated a scrum and gone for, like, you would go surely for a scrum again. They're not, they're going for the corner, and they've got a fantastic line out, so you can see why they do that. But they've got 2 scrum penalties now. Do another one, France might lose the front row.
Well, in Mont-de-Marsan, when these two sides met for a World Cup warm-up, England scored 6 tries, 5 from forwards, 4 from rolling mauls, all from French penalties. So we have seen this one before. Ward brings it down there 5 metres out. The whole thing looks to have been sacked, but miraculously they stay on their feet. New maul is formed, so the forwards ply themselves back in. Looking to disrupt in the middle there is Agathe Gerin and Marie-Soufal Raclot. Breach tiptoes round to the short side, but it's to the open that they go. Hurd's with it. She's got Ménage and Vernier for company, and she's lost the ball through the tackle. England just cannot get things to stick right now. They're leading 7 points to 5, but we've had half an hour played, and they would have wanted a buffer by a bruised and emotional France in this, a World Cup semi-final on home soil. Canada away, and Canada are licking their lips as Bourdon-Sansu clears that to pass the 22. Kildun with the ball in 2 hands, the opportunity to counter-attack. Hurd gathers it and heads back in field. There were numbers out wide, but she's kept it tight. We're over the 30-minute mark now. Bosserman on to Ward. Tackle made by Champon, the open side flanker. Quick ball from Hunt across the face. Bounces. Breach can't gather. Somehow now it's with Cabella. Ball has been lost forward again, and England's attack is coming apart at the seams.
It is, and we spoke about this all tournament long. They just haven't clicked. When they're, and it's any time there's line speed, and it looks to me like they're not sure which to do. They've got a bit of a half gap. They want to carry it themselves. Then they decide, oh no, actually I'll pass it. In that time, the French defence is up. They've put the pressure on. Just be more decisive. If you want to run it all day. Don't care. Sometimes Kildun doesn't give 2-on-1s, but what she does do is she'll finish when she makes a line break. Where she's ineffective is when she's not sure whether to run, not sure whether to pass. Pick a lane, go for it, be good at it, and that at the minute is what this England backline are lacking.
7-5, the Red Roses lead Labeler here at Ashton Gate as the drums ring out and the rain for now stays away. France's defensive scrum just inside their own 22 and right before our commentary position on this near touchline. It pinwheels again. The last one of these gave England the penalty, but no, they get it away. End over end it goes from our Bez. Breach will take it right on the 10-metre line, but taking Breach is Gabby Vernier with one of those characteristic hurtles from the line. Ball's been knocked on, and France have it back with a knock-on advantage just before halfway, and they have so many numbers to the open side. Bourgeois opts to kick it away with the scrum advantage, but she's going to pin England back. Arbey dashing up. Jones just gets in her field of vision and stops her making the tackle on Kildun, who chips and chases her own right in the middle of the field. Now it's Ménager who has it, tackled by Kildun. Bosserman bashed back by the French clear out, and they head to the open side on the 10-metre line inside England's half. 2 points the gap and 8 minutes remaining on this first half. The quality has been low, but the tension, you could cuss it with a knife. As England have 50 minutes to find a little something. They have Roland on the bench. They have Aitchison on the bench. They could change their playmakers if they wanted, because what is happening right now is far from reassuring. Ball lost by Bernardo, hacked on from Cocaine. It dribbles into touch just inside the French half, but again, deeply unconvincing.
And I'm just wondering if Abby Dow's carrying a knock, because Arbe's just run past her twice now, and Abby Dow's one of the fastest player in women's rugby, but just almost looks like there's, I don't know, just interested to keep an eye on her there.
I was on the other side, I'll come back over.
Isn't it knock on the contest?
No, because I thought she stripped it. Not for me, they'll tell me.
So Kat Merchant will be sticking around after the full-time whistle to record a podcast with myself, with Sarah Orchard, and that'll be available wherever you get your podcasts from, preferably BBC Sounds, but you know, whatever floats your boat. And we will be keeping you up to date with all things World Cup final week. So much to come, and of course comprehensive covering across the entire network. 7-5, England lead France. How long ago that virtuosic Kildun score feels now as they sputter in attack. Gérin throwing in from inside her own half. England steal it. It's what they do. More line-out steals than any team in the championship, in which just 3 teams remain. Canada are through. New Zealand are out. Who will take the remaining spot? Because 2 does not go into 1. Chip over the top from Bourdon-Sansus. It's Ménager who gathers. Breach with the tackle. The offload is loose. Loose ball right in front of England's sticks in the 22 and 10 metres from the try line. Crisis averted, but what a kick from the scrum half, and what a take from Marine Ménager. Clearance from Harrison. Wow.
Oh, if that ball goes to hand, that's a score. That's a French try from seamlessly nothing really. So Marine Ménager does really well to take that kick. A good footwork. She does Breach on the inside, but Breach gets back to make the tackle. Offload comes in. It's just not pulled back far enough there for Champon.
Time off. I know, time off. You need physio? Yes. Okay. Time off.
We're waiting for the click to happen. I was hoping for England it would happen in this one, but far too many errors, and you've got to, like, if you look on performance, Canada tear them apart in a final if England do get it through, if they do not click.
Okay, I thought that one spun and then we played away. We had one penalty down here where I agree, but I'll keep bouncing in between. The big thing is I need to see all 3 of you go forward. Okay, that's not. I'm just telling you, for me, it's very much one side going forward right now. Yeah.
Turnover on the lineup.
Yeah, I thought they moved a body and then she went off her feet. So I understand what you were saying. For me, they have the balance of strength because they're going forward to move a body out. Okay. But I do hear what you're saying. Okay.
If any more England forwards surround Maggie Cogerore, it will technically be a mole. They all wanted a word with her. That was extraordinary.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Like, send your captain over, have a word, then get away. Have some respect. Like, referee's decision. I think she's entertained that longer than she needed to. I think she could have just gone, do you know what? I make decisions, go away.
Both sides.
It is her first World Cup semi-final, Cogerore. She's extremely experienced, but it's a big occasion for the officials, as it is the players. Now, I mentioned it there, Kat. There is some glass down on the England bench marked Roland, and another case marked Aitchison. At what point, if you're John Mitchell, do you break it?
I don't know actually if those players are the difference to come on, because I'm just trying to work out where, like, it's breaking down between. Well, actually, no, all of it, because there was a Hunt and Hurd one, then there was a Kildon one out wide. Dow, haven't seen her at all this game so far, and I'm a real big fan of Dow, but not got her into the game, so I don't know where they slot into that really.
Because what Zoe Harrison brings you, amongst many things, and I'm certainly not pinning this all on her, she is a world-class player, but she brings you territorial management, and England have had none. They have had so much less territory than the French, and that's the case now, because France have nailed their line out. 6 minutes remaining on the half, 5-7, they trail the world number ones, and their maul has just bussed them through Bernardo into the England 22 again. They have been camped out there for veritably the last 30 minutes. Bourdon-Sansus finding the open side, Champon, the under-20 starlet, who is having a brilliant first World Cup. Escudero, her flank partner, the pick and the go from Théani Fellaieux, and that tackle had to be made by Cocaine. France to within 6 metres. Bourdon-Sansus just floats that up onto Fal Raclo, and the gap narrows further. 5 minutes left. on the half. Here is Brosso, the loose head, was down receiving physio but seems fine now. Bernardo, her propping partner, Cabella and Ward combined. To the open side they go, needs to go through the hands. Surely that pass was forwards from Vernier, it was. Marine Ménager is over and has dotted it down, but that pass practically landed in Bath.
It didn't need to be like that either. They didn't need to go for that missed pass. Could have just gone for the simple fix and give, so they've overcomplicated that there. So big, long pass there. I don't think it was as forward as you thought it was, looking at it. I mean, it's forward, but like, I don't know, that's marginal.
I think it's got to be fairly forward for the referee to blow her whistle with the ball mid-flight.
Yeah, absolutely. Quite often they let those score and then come back and TMO it. And one of the things I loved about last night's game as well, no TMO interactions at all, no cards, game was quick, it flowed really well. So actually, I'd much rather ref in the middle going, yeah, saw that, that's this. If it's wrong, it's wrong, but just back self-made a decision.
England scrummaging deep in their 22 here. So Hunt will feed. The French replacements in lilac bibs, watch on, hands on hips or arms folded. England with another scrum penalty. It's one of France's great weapons, but they've got them on toast this afternoon. And some boos ringing out because as the French look to extricate themselves from the pile of bodies, Maud Muir was flipped over her own head and neck, and it did look rather suplexy, but she's got up to her feet, seemingly fine.
Suplexy. You always say a word I don't understand. That's today's word.
Well, I've just put a Y on the end of suplex, if I'm being honest, Kat. Suplex being a...
We have your players marching after, and it's not sportsmanlike, okay? Yeah. Come off. I understand. You have a word about that now, please.
So getting told there that
keep the ball.
There's just a bit too much niggle, pushing off the ball, just
we need
tensions
to keep your
are really
shoe
high.
on your foot. This is the second time. Okay? Tape it to your foot.
Have France, Kat, been asked to slow this game down? Because we've seen Brosso receive physio twice. Bernardo is now having her shoe taped onto her foot because it keeps coming off. And there have been points where both Escudero and Condé have lost their scrum caps through contact and then taken a while to get them back on.
Thank you.
Yes, and we've we've seen it in the men's game as well with France. They're very smart at slowing a game down when they need to.
England's line-up just outside their 22. They're leading by 7 points to 5. A missed Bourgeois conversion, the difference between these two sides. England have won the last 16 in this head-to-head. This was meant to be straightforward. France lost Joanna Grisset in the week to injury. They lost their captain Maneo Feleou to a suspension. They lost their flanker Axel Berthommier to another suspension. And yet, 2 points in it, and Kelly Albay has just flown up defensively and ripped the ball away right before the sticks, 15 metres out. France have the ball. So with 3 minutes left on the half and just 2 points to separate them, it's Les Bleus on the attack yet again and deep in England territory. Champont's carry, swiftly reloaded and onto Brosso. Tackle by Aldcroft, England's captain, back from that knee injury, which they so feared would keep her out of this competition. Hannah Bosserman has done it again.
I don't agree with that one though. I think that she got hands past the ball. I think that was assumed that was going to be a holding on penalty before it became one. Could be wrong, I haven't seen a replay, but looking at that live and the speed at which that happened, I think she went beyond the ball, which I'm not allowed to do.
Well, Hannah Bosserman rose straight from the floor there with another roar, but also 3 fingers triumphantly held aloft. That her third of the match, and an individual cat who so wants to be in these big games. She missed out on the semi-final and the final last time out through injury.
Just looking at a replay there, and she doesn't, like, her elbows do hit the floor, so I don't know, but yeah, but she's incredible, and that's what she comes in and brings. She brings those turnovers at really important moments.
Well, Amy Cocaine's line-out throw was patted back towards her by Champon, the French flanker, getting her hands to it, but directly so. So England still have the ball. An unconventional line-out that went English woman to French woman and back to English woman again. Red Roses with the ball with 90 seconds to register another score in this one, but France turn it over.
Yeah, you can see that again, mile off. They're just getting themselves isolated here, but this is good rugby, like, as in, like, this is really competitive. They're like neck and neck, and often whoever scores before half time gets such a good mental advantage coming into that second half. So I think England wanted to work their way down the pitch, but it's France that have got it, and they've got a line out in the 22 now.
Well, Léa Champon is having a towering match in that 7 jersey for France. She's clearly stepping up, knowing that in the absence of Axel Bartomeu, of Mané Ophelio, there's extra work to be done around the breakdown. She has been everywhere. So, a French line out with 50 seconds left to play. They're about 15 metres from the try line, and their replacements haven't budged. They've been there for so long, only they fluffed their lines at that set piece. It was Allcroft in the air who made a right dog's dinner of that one.
No advantage. Knock on.
The England pack are so good at disrupting line out. They're just, because you can look at a line out that's not functioning, and actually France, they're doing it well, but England actually are just outclassing them in that area. They're so strong.
So we'll have yet another scrum, and we mentioned Hannah Bossom, and it would be remiss not to touch on the fact that in her absence Kelsey Clifford has proven legitimately world class.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic try scoring machine, just incredible there.
So they've got such depth, England, and that might tell in the dying stages of this one. The clock ticks into the red. 5-7 France trail. They're deep in England territory, but it's Mo Hunt who will put this in, and you suspect they will look to get this off the park, as watching on with stony faces the entire England coaching collective stand in the tunnel.
Ball's out by number 8.
Matthews picks and rises with that one, but she's well met by Tayani Feleu. Over that is Ward, and England look like they might be about to play here. No, they won't. Harrison sends it into the stands, and both sides will head in for some quiet contemplation, or perhaps not so quiet in the case of the world number ones, because 7 points to 5 was not on their mood board. That was very much not the plan. Early score from Ellie Kildun, converted by Zoe Harrison. Nasira Condé scorching over for Les Bleus, who have remained out en masse on the pitch in a huddle, whereas England just leave their 5 core leaders out on the park. But very much, Cat Merchant, not the first 40 we were expecting.
Not at all. And France butchered probably 3 opportunities to score, with the forward pass there, with the loss of the line out, with the loss of a scrum as well. Like, there were points out there that, whereas actually England, they messed up the third one with the knock-on mix-up down there, but actually they haven't had much more opportunity to score. France have been in the territory quite a lot, so yeah, completely unexpected.
France with so much to do today to keep their World Cup survival alive, and perhaps even make it to our first World Cup final. It really is remarkable that they have never found themselves at the big dance. So often the bridesmaids in this competition, but arguably the star of the show so far for both sides, Hannah Bosselman. 3 turnovers and counting, and hasn't she just been a star on our hit series Barely Rugby, alongside also a turnover queen today, Meg Jones. So let's hear a little bit more from the pair of them, alongside comedian Harriet Kemsley, bringing you, I've got written down here, a real insight into the life of a rugby player. I think it's anything but. They really don't talk about rugby. No topics are off limits, so go and check it out if you haven't done already. All 5 episodes are on the Rugby Union Weekly podcast feed, and here is a little soupçon of what they've been up to.
So you're going to the gym like regularly? Like what's the routine?
It's probably like 4 times a week.
3-4 times a week. Yeah. So
we've got like a designated program that our S&C strength and conditioning coach does, who's like obviously like qualified. It's not like a PT. It's more of like a science-based that is for our sport.
Like when we go in, when we have sessions, and we'll go into like, I'll go into like a public gym. Like
you look ridiculous.
You look so stupid sometimes, because you're doing like
jumps or
like just random things that are good for like
rugby.
Athletic or like rugby performance, but like your average Tom, Dick and Harry in the gym that
it's just bench pressing.
It's just bench pressing,
like,
or
why is she jumping
down?
Yeah,
like what are you actually doing?
Why is she?
And especially for me as well, because I'm like obviously bigger.
Yeah.
Like
obviously. Yeah.
Like
so obvious.
Like why are you?
Not to people listening on the podcast.
Yeah, you're right.
Not
sorry.
know, you know.
If I am larger than Meg.
Yeah.
Like some of the stuff, it just, I can imagine people just look at you and go, what?
And they probably think, oh, you're making that up. Bands are always when you've got like bands wrapped around something.
Or you're like jumping. Yeah, with the bands, and everyone's like,
they're making that
silly,
up.
Actually.
Yeah.
Do you know when you like, I imagine if you went into the gym and you see someone do something, you're like, oh, I might try that. that's probably what they think we've done. It's just gone into a gym and
Yeah.
gone, I'll give that a go.
Yeah, I'll just
See how we
get
get
up
on.
and down and
Yeah.
throw these
Are
bands
you a
around.
gym goer?
I didn't used to be, like in my 20s I was very like unfit, and then I've just got into like lifting. Like, I've got this really good personal trainer. I got really into Pilates Reformer because you lie down.
Yeah, nice.
Like it's so good.
That's tough though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really,
really
hard,
tough.
but the fact it just felt like a break. I think it's like just
Yeah.
the lying down, even though you're moving your arms and legs. I was like,
Maybe you could do a
this is
Pilates
so
date
lovely.
with someone. Sorry,
Yeah.
just
Good
thinking about
idea.
it.
That would
Yeah.
probably be hard to have conversations, you know, as you go back and forth.
Maybe after coffee.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Puppy
Just thinking.
yoga.
Yeah.
Yoga,
Sorry,
yeah,
just
that's
thinking.
a nice idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've just got to find somebody to go on the date with. But we've got lots of ideas, so
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got into weightlifting a bit, but it's nothing like what you guys
What
are doing.
what
I
what
can
movements do you do?
I can like I've now got up to 12 kgs, like doing like
Power
this kind of what's this?
Or row?
Up
Like
and-
a row?
up- no, but like I'm standing up and it's going up and down.
Pull.
And then
Oh,
I'm doing
power-
yeah, so the technique
This is charades.
of-
How many words?
I'm
yeah, I don't know.
standing-
Film.
I'm standing up and they're going up and down.
Who's going up and down?
The man.
Okay, let's just move on. I'm proud of myself.
Well done.
No,
Well,
I.
thank you.
It's,
No,
I
the
think
first
it's
step is
very
going.
daunting as well.
Yeah.
Like when that's not something like if you're not naturally into
Fitness and stuff.
fitness
yeah.
and
Yeah.
lifting weights and stuff like that, like going into a gym, especially as a woman, I think as well, going into a gym, it's usually so heavily male dominated, and then not really knowing what you're doing either. So
The amount of times
Kudos.
my mates who don't play rugby or like literally have no relationship with exercise, like they used to write their own get out of jail cards for PE in school, the amount of times they just want me to go with them because they feel like they can't go, I'm like, oh, I never thought
Sad,
of that because
innit?
we've
Yeah.
always just been in a team
Yeah.
environment and like the gym's booked out for us, so like we don't have that issue and we've got someone telling us and giving us confidence, so it is a real issue, particularly when you've got testosterone
Do you
corner.
both feel like body confident, or is that something you think about at all? Like your body as your tool? Like, do you think about your bodies much?
I think of it as like a purpose. I've never exercised to have a nice body. Do you know what I mean? Or like feel muscly or anything. I've always exercised because I know it's good for my rugby, if that makes sense. But then at a consequence, it means that I'm fit and not consequence, but it means the results is that I've got muscles. But I've never struggled with my body image, so I can't really speak on that.
I think I don't even know. I think it even now still. I think it's difficult sometimes to separate like what a social norm body looks like and what is deemed even attractive, etc., and what like my body is used for. If that makes sense, like I couldn't be Meg size
And do your job.
and
yeah.
do my job. Like it like even if I was the best rugby player in the world, I would get run over by someone in a scrum because they'd have 30 kilos.
Physics, innit?
Like
Yeah.
mass moves mass. So like there's like especially in my position or what I've had to figure out, I used to be probably 10-15 kg heavier, sort of even like a year ago really. So since losing that weight, it's a little bit messed up, but I feel better because I'm smaller, but shouldn't feel like that, if that makes sense. But I'm better at my job now because I'm a bit smaller.
Is it a thing you have to think about, like getting enough calories, getting enough protein? Like that's something. I dated this guy who was into like working out quite a bit, and it was like
Weighing his food.
yeah, kind of
Yeah.
exhausting. It'd be like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
and he'd be like, God, I've got to eat some chicken. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's like
It's not as
Yeah,
heavy
no,
as that,
no.
but it is 24/7.
Yeah,
like
it is,
even
yeah.
just making food choices, like you're like, oh, how many grams of protein's in that? Like just in your head, you wouldn't say it
Yeah.
outright. Like we would never go, oh, I need 20 grams now. I need every 4 hours. I need
Yeah.
20 grams.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I need to get my 20 grams. Like that's a bit heavy because you
Yeah.
also like life happens. Like you're never gonna have
Like perfect scenarios
Yeah.
where you
Yeah.
can have
like things
20 grams
happens.
of
So
chicken breast in your
that
back
feels like
pocket.
such a
you gotta
healthy
be
way of dealing with
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
you gotta be realistic with it.
Yeah, definitely.
But it is a big,
It is,
body
yeah.
image is a big issue, and also eating is a big issue within women in sport.
Because it's such
Full
a
stop.
freeing thing to just see your body as a tool, like
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
be so in your body that like that's so lovely.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's so rare for so many women.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, I think some people naturally probably feel more confident with themselves than other people do.
Yeah, 100%.
But
I think that's
in just,
relationship with
general
like body image
and
but also,
yourself,
like,
I
food.
guess. Yeah.
And food.
Yeah.
Growing up,
So
maybe.
I think it takes time as well.
Yeah.
Like time to figure stuff like that out.
Yeah, it's like a personal thing, but then also like on a larger scale, like society, like someone like Ilona, who's like showing that different body parts,
To be strong
different
is beautiful,
body parts,
yeah.
different
Yeah,
body
yeah.
types,
Yeah.
look incredible is a really exciting thing.
And I think that's important, is because most of it is genetics. Like half
Yeah.
the time, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
sometimes, you know, if you got a front row in the family, like front row's in the blood.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of rugby, is that there's so many different shapes and sizes built for a purpose.
Yeah.
That's why it's celebrated on so many avenues. I'm not saying there isn't body images issues within rugby, but it's when you step outside of rugby you get the issues. It's like people making comments like, oh, you don't look like a rugby player, or, you know, why are you muscly, or what have you. But I feel like that is changing. The whole like being powerful and being strong for a woman is definitely changing. Because Celia, my partner, was at this festival the other day and some bloke just shouted, "Oh, you go gym? Keep doing what you're doing because it looks good."
I love that.
Like just random as hell, but like, I mean, I guess it's a compliment in some respects.
Yeah.
But before, maybe that you just think like, oh, they're manly or what have you, and I think that's a projection of insecurities of other people.
Do you
anyway.
ever listen at all to the noise outside of rugby? Like, does that ever get through into the bubble of rugby?
I don't hang around enough with people that are, do you know what I
You're in
mean
the
though?
bubble.
But like,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's why I like Instagram, because everyone that follows me for me, and like I don't really get much hate. Whereas like TikTok and stuff, you can have anyone, and I don't really post on TikTok, but you can have anyone filter on your feed, and I think I don't really put myself out there enough to be in the eye line of people that aren't interested in rugby. So I've never personally experienced.
I get so much all the time. Not all the time.
Social media.
TikTok's particularly bad.
So you can't filter any of it.
No, but 9 times out of 10, if I'm posted on like the England Rugby channel, it's like, oh, this is women's rugby, not men's. Oh, this is the wrong team.
Yeah, nice, classic.
Like I just get like I get so much about looking like a bloke, but that that does not. I find a lot of it funny. Like I replied to someone the other day because it actually made me laugh out loud. It was like a video of like I don't even know. It was a video anyway, and someone just under it replied Matt Lucas, and I was like, that was actually hilarious, because I also did look slightly bald in it because I had a hat on, and I was like, that's actually funny. Like, I'll actually give you kudos for that.
Any press is good press, I guess.
Yeah, well,
I'm quite good at ignoring it as well. Like I post on Instagram quite a lot, and then it automatically like posts to Facebook, but I don't really go on Facebook very often.
Facebook is a war zone.
Facebook is the worst.
I've deleted that.
All the mothers, man. Honestly, like mother of mothers, such a good place to go if you want to laugh. Honestly, like underneath all of our like rugby stuff, it is
brilliant.
hilarious.
Yeah,
so
it's
funny,
crazy. So I went on there like after like a month or something, and then I had all these messages saying just ignore the haters, Harriet, stay strong. And I was like, wow, everyone's being so positive. This is so nice, like all these DMs. And then I saw one of my videos had gone quite viral, but it was because just all these men were writing underneath, not funny, who does she think she is? She's not funny. Like, but they didn't realise they're just driving up the algorithm.
Yeah,
So I had all these like, followers.
All the ads are coming through.
It didn't affect me. I read like 3 of them, and then I was like, well, keep doing what you're doing,
I know,
guys.
honestly.
You're helping.
I just find it so I don't read comments and stuff like that, unless like Instagram I get notification, but all the others I don't really read comments. But I just find it so mad that people take the time out of their day.
Yeah, like what? And
I'm like,
to do what?
Is it
as
that
well?
empowering for you to be like, oh, like I don't know, do you know what I mean? Or you look like a man.
It does seem mad. Like it never in my life have I ever thought, oh, I'm going to comment something about that person's appearance, or I'm going to comment. Even just like comment under someone's photo, like what?
Yeah,
it baffles
because you're
me.
busy and you're living a life.
Or just
that's
like
it.
literally, it's just mental.
It is an absolutely brilliant series. I could not recommend it more. So go and wrap your ears around Barely Rugby with Harriet Kemsley, with Meg Jones, and with Hannah Bossum. And it's where you will find out on the Whistle podcast from Ashton Gate here today, and plenty of other rugby union goodness, because terrifyingly the men's premiership is right around the corner, starting on Thursday night next week in a historic first. But we have the small matter of things to settle here, because England are leading France, the world number 1s against the world number 4s, by 7 points to 5. And so where France find themselves, Cat Merchant, is with another sprint for home. They had one against Ireland where it was like a handicap chase. They were trailing by 0 points to 13, and they knew they had to reel back in the Irish to stay alive in this World Cup, and they did it. They are good at coming from behind. They've only got 2 points to overcome, and they're not in the middle of a hurricane today.
Yeah, and France always have a better second half, like generally. Well, they always have a good 40, basically, against teams. They either put them away in the first half and then just like forget about turning up for the second half, or like today it's been a bit niggly, neither side particularly playing well, I don't think, in this first half, which sometimes happens with knockout rugby. People go within themselves, they do funny things, they don't perform how they do normally. So I think they just have to really come at it now, because this is like now or never for them.
Well, and here they come. There is a poor French assistant coach stood out on the pitch with a giant tackle bag resplendent in World Cup colours of amber and pink, and they're all taking it in turns to have a pop at him on the way out. The first one to batter him was Pauline Baudon-Sansu, who has been, Kat, by her standards, a little quiet in that first 40.
A little quiet, but not making errors at least. I think that she's done some smart, there was a smart kick. Oh, here's the cheer as England run out, so support still very much for this team.
And support clearly coming from the coaches department too, because they've not made a single change. The 1 to 15 run out who started this one. So Bosserman, Cockayne and Muir, Tarling and Ward, Allcrofts, Corbea, Alex Matthews at the base, Hunt and Harrison the half-back axis, Herden Jones the midfield, Breach, Dow and Kildun, who scored England's sole try early on in this one. They haven't changed a thing in terms of personnel, but what do you expect to see them change in terms of approach?
So I think they need to just be more clinical, and like, it pains me to say this as a former winger, but just kick and maul and scrum and just stick to those, and then they will win out this game. But it's just not working for them, moving it wider into those channels. Yes, Kildun got it off a scrappy ball and ended up doing well, so it's not saying it can never go there, but bully this French side, bully them up front.
Harrison all in white and going from left to right, gets things back underway. Arbez finds Vernier. It's Morbier of Gloucester Hartbury with the tackle in her own 22. Arbez gives that a right whack onto Harrison. Here now, Kildun sets off on a little adventure, but well wrapped up, well tackled.
Leave it.
By Tayani Fellea, who every time she's got the ball in her hands, has made inroads. They are a big pack, the French. They are big, they run hard, they hit even harder. And here they go, making their tackles on Cockayne. England up to halfway. Harrison, flat pass onto Tarling. Escudero, the competition's second top tackler, adds another one to her tally. Jones on to Kildun with the show and the go, finding Dow, one-handed take. England up to the 10-metre line now, leading 7 points to 5. Canada away in next Saturday's World Cup final. Through a gap is Hannah Bosserman, and she's into the 22. Sizes up Morgane Bourgeois. She's got 20 kilos on her and bashes her backwards. Herds now gets the offload onto Ward. England 15 metres out towards the centre of the field. 7 phases in that rumble into French territory where they have scarcely sent a moment. Here now Muir. Tackle again by Escudero. There's a soft seam there and Hunt is clattered by Baudon-Sansu. Harrison hoovers up the bouncing ball to the short side again. Ward, England to within 6 metres now. Bosserman's clear out. Hunt rootles for it. Corbea wants it, but it's on to Muir. Fantastic line speed there from the French. As Muir caught that, she was smashed. Bosserman, England still 6 metres out. Now to Jones, on to Kildun. Tip pass on to Abby Dow, but the referee's whistle has sounded. The pass was forwards.
I know who, this isn't going to be a popular thing for me to say, but I know what sub I'd make. I'd get Mo Hunt off and I would get Lucy Packer on, because she speeds that ball up. Not a popular opinion, I'm sure, for people listening, but absolutely what I'd do right now.
Is she okay?
Lucy Packer, who started that last World Cup final, having had scarcely an opportunity in the group stages, but grown so much since.
Oh yeah, she's great. And I'm just looking at that. Quite a harsh call to say forwards. I don't know, just looking at that replay, you wonder if you just let them score and then call it back, but
it's not the TMO, it's me.
I like that from referee though. It's not a TMO, it's me.
Just like the French one, okay?
if you're playing speed ball, you want to keep the game quick, which is what we all want. And when we're watching and we complain about TMOs coming in, occasionally you're going to get one that's maybe wrong, but that's the risk that you take by having the speed of ball play.
2 minutes into the second half at a sold-out Ashton Gate. England leading France 7 points to 5. The width of a post, the difference for Morgan Bourgeois off the tee, looking to convert Nassira Condé's try. Bourdon sans soup. Crimson socks pulled up high, stands to the side of his French defensive scrum, about 7 metres from their try line. England, 31 test matches undefeated. They haven't lost the match since the last World Cup final. They have had France's number on 5 occasions since, and yet today, where the stakes are at their highest and the rugby is knockout, they cannot quite figure them out, or perhaps it's better to say that their own worst enemies are themselves. France opt to play a couple of phases before they shape for the kick on this exit. They're 10 metres from the try line now. It's going to be the box kick from Bourdon sans soup, player of the match twice since her return from suspension in this World Cup. Dow gathers the kick. Escudero makes the shot yet again. Nice carry from the captain. A captain's carry from Zoe Allcroft, and England are almost up to the 22 once more. The dummy from Harrison beats one, but Bourdon sans soup manages to rein in the England fly half, and they really slow the ball down there, France, and then win the turnover.
That was smart defence though from France, because they flew up on the outside. Zoe Harrison thinks she can get a pass away, realises she can't, so she carries in, gets isolated. Pauline Bourdon sans soup has gone quick.
Waiting for absolutely nobody, and now unleashing Condé. Here is Arbet on the little switch move. So strong.
She's so strong.
She's so slender, like a thoroughbred racehorse, but she's got power with it. Ripples with muscle, and France up to halfway. Got some numbers here. Fabulous offload from a tumbling Falraclo, and now it's Bourgeois who is upended by Jones on the halfway line. France, though, tails up and sensing an opportunity. Falraclo to halfway. They're dead in the centre of the pitch here now, Les Bleus. Left-footed kick over the top from Arbez, who nailed that 50-22 early on, remember. But Kildun gathers and doesn't make much distance on that at all.
This is worrying times for England now, because France are starting to realise they can do it. They are starting to get belief in the way that they are playing. That quick tap penalty, great decision there, and they are really getting their offload game in. They're causing real issues out wide.
And as we said before the match, Kat Merchant, World Cup winner alongside me for this one on Sports Extra. France didn't look like they had any belief, but it is coming back, and that mimics what they said after the match at Sandy Park against Ireland last week, where they had that 13-point deficit to overcome. Eventual player of the match, Escudero, said, "We were in a hole. We struggled to put our game in place, but we came back out with loads of energy, and that made the difference. Bit by bit, the confidence came back, the joy came back, and now we are semi-finalists."
Oh, we're seeing it. You're just seeing it in the body language. You're seeing it in this French side. They are starting to believe.
And why wouldn't they? Because we're 45 minutes into this semi-final now, and they only trail England by 2 points. We have seen a try apiece, a missed kick, the difference, and it's Agathe Charin just before our commentary position here, just outside the 22, who looks to pick out Champon, but finds only Amy Cocaine. Harrison onto her. Surely now England's back line can do something special. Over halfway through Kildun, little chip, and then the chase. Arbez is there. She's covered the backfield remarkably well. Driven into touch by Kildun. England celebrate. There's a bit of pushing and shoving taking place.
Yeah, things kicking off after the ball there. Marine Ménager angry about something with that, but that was good from England to play it out their own half deep in 22, to move it wide to those backs. They finally link up, and that's how dangerous they can be. But this all started from a turnover line out. England have to thank their pack, because they're helping them out massively here.
Neither side are playing much rugby today, so it almost feels as though the battle is in between their mindsets. This is a battle of belief now. 2 points in it. England's more with a head of steam into 15 metres out deep in French territory. France putting backs and forwards and everyone they can gather in to try and repel this thing, but it's made it to 7 metres out, still going. England's maul. Someone has it at the back, but there are so many jerseys in there, you can't even tell who. It doesn't matter. All that counts is that they're 2 metres, 1 metre out. Amy Cocaine scores, and England grow the gap with their backs against the wall.
Absolutely needed to step up, and they did it. It is their pack once again that steps up for them, and there's just no answer to it, and they are the best in the world at doing this style of play, and that's what they need to stick to. They've come away from it for whatever reason. Maybe they were trying to save it for the final. I honestly don't know, but they have absolutely delivered here, and that's a long way as well for that driven line-out maul try to come.
Amy Cocaine has splashed down off the back of a line out that was a good 15, 16 metres out. The flags go up and the posts flash green because Zoe Harrison has made it a score of 14 points to 5. England now with 2 converted tries, 7 minutes gone of this second half, and it's certainly not breathing space, Cat Merchant, but it's something.
I think it was important to do for England there because France were starting to get their tails up. They were starting to believe they could do it, and England squashed that with a really great try there for them.
And for the first time in some time, it gets loud at Ashton Gate because it had got decidedly subdued. England muck up another restart, and they're in their own 22.
I just don't know what is going on because these are like the basic skills. The kick-off receipt to something that, you know, you've just scored. You then get an opportunity to attack, and then you just straight away you've given a line out to France in the 22. It's just you've got to get rid of those errors.
It is the 4th set piece. You hear it all the time, the restart. It matters so much in the modern game. This time, the line-out drills stick, and it's France's turn to get a rolling maul rumbling. 48 minutes played. France 5, England 14, but the women in blue told to use it. They've not had the same success in that department as England. Hunt tackling Bourdon-Sanson, who goes down theatrically and draws the penalty advantage. So, blue ball right on the line of the England 22. Brosseau with an injection of pace and power through that carry, but it's slow ruck ball queuing up for it off France's forwards. Bernardou the tight head with a little help from Escudero. This time quickly recycled. Gerard Bosselman was shaping for the steal, but so swiftly to it was Champon back for the advantage.
Yeah, really, really smart from Bottoman there. She realised she couldn't go for the jackal, but she put pressure on the breakdown, pushing through, made that ball come out. So then there's an error from France, but they were playing for that high tackle penalty advantage, and they're opting to go for the corner.
Well, Albers took that kick really casually, and it shows in the result because she definitely could have brought them to 6 or 7 metres out, but instead it's almost 15.
Yeah, why did she do that? She just really just casually walked up like, oh well, like just a World Cup semi-final where you know
no big deal,
trailing and you need to get a score in.
Well, it's laissez-faire from Les Bleus, and it means that Gerard is throwing from 15 metres, but again, the line out sticks. We've almost got half an hour left to play of this one. England leading by 9 points now. It is not enough of a buffer, not if recent results against France were anything to go by. Don't forget, there was 1 point in it when they met at the Allianz Stadium in Twickenham, and England at one stage led by 24. Bourdon-Sanson on now to Gerard, who hit so high above her weight and is 7 metres out now, right before the sticks. Bourdon-Sanson summons in a couple of taller figures and now asks them to pick and go. She's going to stay out of things for the time being. So it's Falraclo, and then it's Escudero, and now Bourdon-Sanson assembles some flyers in the backs division. Not before another carry from Falraclo. Six Nations Player of the Championship nominee not so long ago. Now they go to Whip. Oh, Bez ran right at Meg Jones, gets the offload away. They were playing under advantage.
Tackle off the ball. On number
tackle
12,
off the ball there, so interesting to see what they do here right in front of the post. Do they kick 3 to stay in the game? Yes, you do, don't you? You'd go for 3 here, so you'd getting that deficit down.
France want more. 3 points doesn't feel sufficient, not at this stage, not in a World Cup semi-final with 30 minutes left to play. What a score here would do. It's the youngster Ikaheheni who goes, then the pass out from Teani Falia. Oh, it's a trick play. They've switched the point of attack. Marie Ménager is in off her wing and carrying to within 5 metres right before the posts. Bourdon-Sanson barking orders, pointing. It's so clear where they're going next. All the deception is tumbled off of this one, but tumbling onwards is Fal Raclo. And now Ikaheheni, France, 4 metres out from a second score. They're trailing by 5 points to 14 against England, who they haven't beaten since 2018. Bodies all in blue, coursing onwards. Fal Raclo is there. So too is Champon and Escudero. So many of these muscular operators queuing up. Condé is out on the far touchline, but it's to the open side that all the speedsters are. And for now, all of France's forwards keeping it tight. 3 metres the difference. England have to stay disciplined. This is right before the sticks, and there have been a couple of penalties in this area now. The clock ticks on. 8 phases. Now France spread it. Bourgeois, it's a 3-on-1. They have to score, and they do. Kelly Albay, who has threatened all match and now has a try to show for it. Kick still to come, but the gap is shrunk back down to 4.
Oh, they absolutely had to score that as well, because when you've got a gift of 3 points available to you, to narrow that scoreline down to be within a score, if you go for that tap, you have to score. And Arbe, you have to say, she's the winger that finishes it, and she has been electric. She really is a thorn in this England side.
20 years old. She was an absolute megastar for Les Bluettes. Their under-20s programme was given her debut at the age of 18, was scoring a week later. She spent this season playing for Toulouse, her club side, but also France on the 7 circuit, picking up bronzes in Dubai and Cape Town and Perth. She's used to big stages, to full stadia.
And she wasn't even going to start today.
And only in, of course, because of the absence of Joanna Grisey. Touchline conversion from Morgane Bourgeois. This to make it a 2-point ball game. She pulls it round absolutely beautifully. We've seen this one before. This is what she did at the Allianz Stadium back in April. Kicked to perfection, and it's England leading 14 points to 12. No one saw this coming, and France have started to unload their bench. It's a whole new front row of Anna Aldee, Elisa Refono and Asia Kalfoui, and also wearing 20, and this will scare England, Seraphine Okemba, an Olympic medalist, an unbelievable ball carrier, as England also rotate their front row. Less than half an hour to play. There were plenty who thought today would be easy.
I did, and I'm very stressed.
No, 16, around the edge.
France playing from their own 22. Vernier onto Condé. Just Breach shoots up, but that perhaps an error, because now they've got options out on the wing. Ménager bumping Tatiana Her, getting the offload onto Vernier. It's a high tackle from Mo Hunt. So France trailing by just 2 points up and over the 10-metre line. Bourdon-Sansu playing with real alacrity once more. The dummy from Arbez smuggles it onto the replacement tight head, and Deye. France playing with such confidence now, such flair. Arbez, the try scorer, only has Dow to beat, but doesn't on this occasion. Dow pulls her opposite number into touch.
Important that Dow did that, because Arbey has been causing a real amount of trouble out wide, so great to see Dow in action and stop that. But France were playing with the advantage for a high shot.
Upright tackle.
So too high from Natasha Hunt. Get Lucy Packer on.
They've swapped wings, the French wingers, Kat. I've noticed it for about 5 minutes now. Do you think they've got Marine Ménager targeting Just Breach and Kelly Albay backing herself for pace out wide against Dow? Is that a deliberate thing?
Yeah, well, I think France do it a lot. So do New Zealand. Their wings, they don't quite keep them as left and right. I think they swap around a lot more than the traditional way that England do it on right and left.
And England have now conceded the last 5 penalties in this match. They came into this fixture the squeakiest, cleanest team at the World Cup, just 6.5 per outing on average, and it's slipping today, along with plenty of other departments. But they will have the ball back, because Agathe Sochat is off, and a first line out of the day for Elisa Refono is not straight.
Yeah, that's, I think possibly because there has been England causing disruptions in the French line out, they went to go for a safe one there, pull it across, but it's just pulled not straight.
England 14, France 12. 55 minutes on the clock, and we are staring down the barrel of something unthinkable here in Bristol.
Don't. I can't think if England lose this is the biggest upset. Like, that's bigger than the Canada one. We saw the Canada one come in. They've been performing well. People who've not followed women's rugby for that long might assume that Canada wouldn't be where they're at, but they absolutely are contenders. But this, with the win rate England have had against France, this would be incredible.
Come up. Okay. Guys, we just spoke about this. Patience. Don't pull back. Don't chase across the middle. Let's go. Let's go.
New front rows to both sides. We mentioned those in blue, but it's time to say good afternoon to Kelsey Clifford, to Lark Atkin-Davies and to Sarah Byrne, whose face is painted enormous in the fan zone down in Bristol City Centre. There is a mural to her. She is a bright beacon of this region and its rugby, and they need her now because England have a 2-point margin over a French team who had every reason to turn up today in body and nothing else, but have brought it in vicious spades. Jones onto Kildare, has to catch that ball on her back shoulder, and it turns into a little 2v2, her and Dow against Condé and Darbe, and will come back for the penalty advantage in the 22.
It's just not good enough from this back line. The pass from Jones goes behind Kildare. Abby Dow's then in front of Kildare when she catches it. They're such dangerous players individually, but it's just that whole thing there just absolutely is shown what we've seen from them this World Cup, unfortunately.
In 2024, Kat, they won another Six Nations Grand Slam. They won another WXV1 title with big victories over big rivals, and they were playing really entertaining rugby to go with the physical stuff, to go with the accuracy. This is probably the $1 million question, but can you put a finger on what has changed, or perhaps why things have changed?
I don't know. I just think it's that knockout stage, and they've probably been talking so much about World Cup and winning it, and that wasn't straight. But France been done for an early lift, so it's free kick.
Hunt takes matters into her own hands and goes quickly, finds her Gloucester Heartbreed teammate Tatiana Hurd, with whom she's won back-to-back Premiership titles. They play in big games, these athletes.
Genuine tackle for me.
But it's scrappy ball. Kildare carrying hard, got a real leg drive on there, and England just outside the French 22, centre of the pitch. 14-12, they lead Les Bleus. Dow gets low and runs over the top of Bourgeois. Serious, heavy metal stuff from the England winger. Now the carry from Clifford. Tarling is there. Atkin-Davies looking to make the clear out, but Akemba has put in a pile driver of a shot. Byrne carries England to within 10. Hunt on to Aldcroft. It's getting noisy. The drums are playing, and the fans, they don't know whether they can't look away or they can't look. Hurd up to within 3. So many options to the short side here for Hunt, who finds Ward, who carries onwards, who might just have scored it, and has. England have a third through Abby Ward. The gap is 7 once more, with the kick still to come, but this game is alive and kicking, make no mistake.
Yeah, France just need to be so careful with their penalty count coming into this, because England will punish. Their set piece is just so good that they can absolutely destroy it. We just saw a replay there of the Abby Dow carry. I tell you what, she didn't look like a winger, looked like a prop then, just absolutely smashing through.
World Cup winning winger Kat Merchant alongside me, and 11 years on. Here is Zoe Harrison looking to extend that lead. She does so. The ball lands amongst stands which are bedecked with waving Union Jacks, with flags, with cowboy hats as ever. England have 21, France 12, and we are nearing the final quarter of this World Cup semi-final. Abby Ward, her name so beloved in these parts, as the sun just peeps out for the first time today from behind a cloud. Is that pathetic fallacy in full force? Was that the moment England turned this thing around? Kat Merchant has her head in her hands alongside me because it's messy at the restart, but they've just about salvaged it, England. And Talling, player of the match last week against Scotland in the quarter-final, has carried them out of their 22. The kick is long and finds only Tayani Felea, who looks up and sees Meg Jones in her face. No worry. The 6-foot-tall number 8 will carry right over the top of her. Bourdon Sansu onto Bourgeois. Now Vernier with a little fix in the pass onto Arbey. Look how quickly the Red Roses look to shut down the French winger. Told to release in the tackle. Vernier is clattered by Byrne. 21-12 into the final quarter of this one. It has been enthralling in all the wrong sorts of ways. Riffono's carry. Baudon Sansu clapping and calling for it is Arbez, the fly half, and now this is Falraclo. Tackle from Jones. She has been busy today. Champon had a little 2v1 out on that far touchline, but she opted to head back in field, and as she has done all afternoon, gets the offload away. France with some front football now, and England's defence drifting and scrambling, but it's a bouncing ball for Vernier. Was that knocked on? Referee says no. So France desperate to secure their own rock ball, and they've gone backwards 20, maybe even 30 metres over 5 phases here. Okemba, ball under one arm, desperate to prove herself. She's hardly had an opportunity this World Cup. The Six Nations Rising Star Award recipients. England with turnover ball up to the 10-metre line. 2 scores in it still. This, the second semi-final. We saw Canada through just last night. They will await at the Allianz Stadium in Twickenham. Jones opts for territory, pinning them back onto the 22.
Yeah, smart as well from Jones there, because the French defence were flying up, but also they're having issues with their line out. So putting that kick in, even though it's a French put into the throw in, for the line out, they're losing their line out. So a good tactical decision there from Meg Jones.
We saw England do it to Scotland last week. You were watching on. They put so much pressure on a creaking set piece.
Don't remind me of Scotland lineouts. They're giving me nightmares.
Okay, we'll bury that. We'll just there we go. Easy cat.
Calm.
Yeah. 21-12. England leading this one, but it's far from comfortable, and the rugby has been far from pretty. Breach takes the box kick, which had plenty of hang time on it from Baudon Sansu, and England are inside their own half. France appealing for the penalty. It goes England's way.
Yeah, so I didn't quite see what happened there, so I wanted to see, but I think they thought they got hands on.
All feet. Just come back here for me.
So hands past it? Yeah, okay.
Well, that far stand is just bathed in sunlight now. It's really come out and illuminating the white jerseys of England, the blue ones of France. Brighton hosting Spurs on 5 Live. That'll be followed by United Chelsea, full commentary of that, and then 6:06 as ever in the company of Roman Kemp and Chris Sutton. Kat and I will be sticking around to record an On the Whistle podcast for you, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Will we be discussing England reaching an 8th World Cup final? Will we be discussing France reaching their first? It's England's maul, which is eventually stopped. So the inside pass from Hurd, picking out Harrison, and the fly half is going nowhere quickly. Hunt finding her co-captain for club, her captain for country in Aldcroft. Hurd takes that mid-air, and 10 metres out from what will be a 4th score for England, she carries hard. Talling picks and goes right over the top of Champon, using every inch of that frame. France turn it over at the breakdown. It's fabulous work from Asia Kalfoui.
Holding on. Same picture I
rewarded
you for.
Great spot there, and they've gone quickly.
They go quickly, and the ball is just dribbling towards the French 22, the English 22 rather. Breach just about gets to it, stops it being a 50-22, but Ménager matched her for pace and makes the tackle. So England right back in their 22. France narrow defensively, but leaving 3 in the backfield, anticipating the kick that is sliced. And we've travelled 80 metres in the blink of an eye.
Oh, and that's what France do. They just play from their 22. They don't mind. It's just those quick taps into there, and they're not scared to run it.
France 12, England 21. Riffono has thrown 1 line out so far, and that one came unstuck. Can she do better? The former trail finder, the current Grenoble star, just outside the England 22. It's Baudon Sansu, the scrum half, onto her half-back partner in Arbez. Théani Falayer can't catch that one. Not a kindly weighted pass at all for the young French number 8. England have it. Heels on their 22, and running from shade to sunlight is Hunt. Harrison drops back into the pocket. They need her game management now, more than ever, because their World Cup campaign is suspended. 9 points the gap. Marine Ménager heads back in field, wonders what she might be able to find. France have a knock-on advantage here right on halfway. Champon next to have a truck. We will have the scrum for France just inside their own half.
The scrums haven't. Oh, they've been a bit more settled recently, but that French scrum has been under pressure as well.
12 white, and then there was one more. And 4 4, 5, 9,
We
12.
wondered if the strength of England's bench might prove the difference today, and we are about to find out if that is the case. Maddie Feyanati, Rosie Gallagher are on in the forwards, and we've changed the halfbacks because on is Lucy Packer and Holly Aitchison too. So we suspect, Kat, that means Harrison at 10 and Aitchison at 12.
Yes, I imagine so. And I think Packer brings quicker ball from the base. Holly Aitchison as well is a really skillful player in there, so seeing what she can do instead of the carrying up style that Hurd offers you. So I think right to make subs around this time as well, just to mix things up. I think they're famous last words, but I think England have enough comfortable lead now to pull away, but we'll see.
By comfortable lead, she means 9 meagre points. It's England 21, France 12. 15 minutes left to play. England with 3 tries to France's 2 and 1 missed conversion, the added differential.
Okay, reset. Sorry, I thought the balls were back. Sorry.
Sorry, we're looking at a thing there. Referee says use it, and it's in still at the props feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Okay, same message. Don't step back. Okay? Don't overextend. I've just spoken to her. Let's go.
Bourdon Sansu will feed this one, knowing that son Arthur is watching on from back home with her wife, Laure Sansu, one of the stars of the last World Cup. 14 minutes left to play. 14 minutes for France to make history. 7-time bronze medalists, never finalists. Canada lie in wait as the first Mexican wave ripples around the stadium, and you would have forgiven them for producing one of those a little bit earlier on because the first half was tough viewing at points. France launch up over halfway through Vernier, and now Ménager is coursing around, and Vernier has stayed down off that hit to the chorus of ooze in his Bourdon Sansu there, up over the 10-metre line and looking to go coast to coast. Fending off Byrne and Clifford there was Escudero, the rampaging young flanker. Bourdon Sansu onto Arbez. Here comes Deshaies. She is tall and broad and carries like a fridge through traffic. Vernier seemingly fine, getting the basketball offload away on the tumble. France still flirting with the 10-metre line here, trailing by 12 points to 21. 13 minutes remain. It is eminently doable, but England have stolen the ball on the floor. They will have the scrum.
Yeah, Bourdon Sansu is looking a bit shocked there. She can't see why, but there must have been a little knock on in there, so handing England possession. But that's what England are good at. They frustrate sides. They just let France have the ball. They just defend really, really well.
It's not late for me, but if it's foul play is in a dangerous tackle, they'll tell me.
Elisa Rifano just appealing about that shot on Gabrielle Vernier. And Pauline Bourdon Sansu, she has to be careful when it comes to her dealings with the referees, of course, because she criticised the match officials after her Toulouse lost the Stade Bordelais in the France Elite final. That's the pinnacle competition in French domestic rugby, and she was very outspoken in her comments on the officiating and was handed a ban that lasted into the start of the World Cup. So she has to stay quiet here.
Yeah, absolutely, because like every single player out on the pitch, you've probably done something good, you've probably done something bad. Yeah, you do make errors. Why do we think the referees don't make errors? Of course they do. It's humans. You're making decisions, and they're making hundreds and hundreds in a game. So yeah, respect is key.
Wait, stop. 20 stops. Thank you.
Harrison looking to kick that one off field. Oh, Ellie Kildon gathers the loosing ball and off she sets. Skittles one, heads the other, splits that, pace to Byrne and scores. Marine Ménager with a moment of madness for France. The kick through from Harrison, and the French winger looked to volley it. Overshot completely, scooped up by Kildon, who's beaten half of Le Exigant en route to the whitewash. England have their fourth. They lead 26 points to 12.
Ellie Kildon, when she's on form, is so on form, because that was just a terrible decision from Marine Ménager to put boot to ball there. Needed to just gather it, but Kildon takes her opportunity, receives it, great footwork, great gas, and you're not going to catch her from there.
The cowgirl celebrations in full effect with her and Meg Jones and Jess Breach, and now it is over to Zoe Harrison as we head towards the final 10 minutes of this one and the final 10 seconds of the shot clock to add a couple more. She does. The cheers tell you everything you need to know. Kildon is on a hat-trick, but critically, England might be in a World Cup final.
Yeah, they're finding their form, which is what they needed to do. I mean, that first half they had me quite stressed up here, but they're finding it now. They're finding their confidence, and this is what we need. We need them to click.
Helena Rowland is on to replace Jess Breach. She has popped straight onto the wing for England. 10 minutes to play. You're listening to me, Claire Thomas, with Cat Merchant for company on Sports Extra. Will be followed by a bit of cricket, so if you're tuning in early, stick around. We would love to have you with us as England look to cement their spot in next week's big dance. Gabrielle Vernier has just grubbered through an interrogating little nudge, and it will be a line out in England's 22.
That was fantastic from Vernier, because she gathered that so quickly and managed to kick it under a lot of pressure. She's just such a skillful player.
Absolute magician on both sides of the ball. They're not going to wait for her to play it on. There we go. She's received a little bit of attention on a calf tweak by the looks of things. Lark Atkins-Davies, another Bristolian, throwing inside England's 22. It's a complex line-out move.
Same picture I got them for. Outside
It's
shoulder.
cost them. There's a lot of moving parts to that Cat Merchant.
Yeah, there was. They look like they're overcomplicating it a little bit, which I think they're guilty of a little bit on kickoff receipts as well.
Scrum. Just on
France will
15
have
here,
the
girls.
scrum. Ellie Kildun
Time
is
off,
with
subs.
a medic just before us, and she looks in
4.
real pain, limping back onto the field, but she looks in tears.
14.
I'll just get her off.
It might-
15, guys, when we're done.
Well, okay, so here's the dilemma. They've just put Helena Rowland onto the field, Cat. They're all out of backs replacements.
Yeah.
So if England take Ellie Kildun off at this stage, having emptied their bench entirely, they will have to see out the remaining 9 minutes with 14.
Oh, there's no one left.
There's no one left. Not to be melodramatic, Cat, but there is no one left. So Kildun will play on for now, but I think you're right. There might come a point with a few minutes remaining where they get her off, they wrap her up in cotton wool, because Canada are lying in wait, and they are looking meaner and leaner and sharper than anything we've seen from England this entire World Cup. France is attacking scrum. Tayani Fellio with the pick and the go, and she's gone right over the shoulders of Harrison. France still within 10. Bourdon Sansu onto Escudero, who is just relentless. She's got Okemba in support. Now this is Kalfaoui, whose turnover saw us back up this end of the pitch. Wide pass to Okemba. Now the ball out wide. Marine Ménager arriving with speed and cleaving to within 2. France so close from another score. This would haul them right back into it. The carry now from Lina Tui, who is on and wearing 22 for Les Bleus. Across the face, fabulous read from Carbea. Massive shot coming in on one of the French props and just stalling their momentum entirely. Tui with the show and the go. Tackle made by Fayanasi. France going backwards 7 phases in. They're trailing England by 12 points to 28. Have to score here with 8 minutes remaining if they are to keep their hopes of a first World Cup final alive. Kalfaoui's carry, 10 metres the difference. To the short side they go via the pick and go. It's Escudero. Time is running out for Les Bleus. The world number 4s, the best side to have never made it to the big dance. Now they have the penalty advantage, so they can really afford to throw this thing around, and they do. Emily Boulard is on the pitch, bouncing ball for Condé, who scores. France with a hiss and a roar are straight back in the mix. 17 trails 28. Kick to come, 7 minutes remaining.
What was great about that was France stayed really, really patient, because England was starting to slowly not roll away, and then in the end it was Sarah Byrne who got done for not rolling away quickly enough. And France are not scared to get it wide, because England defensively have been shown up out there, and Canada with their back 3 will be very happy to have seen this.
Morgan Bourgeois nailed this exact kick about 25 minutes ago. She is sensational from this angle. Curves it round. It lands on the post protector. 2 points go begging. The gap is 11. So it's 2 scores. 2 scores with minutes remaining on this semi-final, and England unsurprisingly stroll back to halfway. If you want the exact numbers, 6.5 minutes left. 11 points to gap. Nasira Condé has a second score, and Pauline Bourdon-Sansu is screaming at the referee, alerting her to the time wasting England are performing.
She is, but France would do exactly the same if it was the other way around.
Touché, as the French would say. Escudero receives the kickoff. We're into the final 6 minutes now. We have seen this before. We have seen France produce quite remarkable sprint finishes. Remember, there was a point in it when we kicked back off with the clock seconds away from the red at the Allianz Stadium back in April. But England have turnover ball here. Cabella finding Aitchison, her first touch. This now Harrison, the little grubber through Vernier, who is just omnipresent today, hoovers it up. Dumped down is Bourgeois in the backfield. France have 90 metres to go for their score here. Will they keep it in hand? For now, yes. Okemba, the Olympian, wearing 20, carries them another couple of yards, but it's not enough. The clock is not their friend. England have been poor today. They've been poor for veritably 75 of the 75 minutes we've seen, but they might just scrape through to Twickenham next week. The kick pass from Lena Tui is taken by Emily Boulard. It's bought them a couple of metres, but Jones combines with Dow to make that shot. England win the penalty. That's the game.
Meg was going to quick tap that. You have to think everybody else is thinking go for points just to kill this game off. But yeah, Meg really wanted to go quick.
England win yet another penalty on the floor. Real deliberation over what to do here. Overcomes Zoe Harrison with Zoe Aldcroft for company. A pair of Zoes, and they conclude that they're heading to touch. England 28, France 17. 4 minutes to play. A score here, and that is multiple nails in a very shabby looking French coffin. Before 25,000, Atkin Davies finds her woman and the maul starts to inch. They've won themselves the penalty, so they can do something with a little bit of razzle-dazzle here if they fancy. That's what they choose. Harrison has it now by the hands of Aitchison. Dow with a little stab through. She's mishit that completely.
Oh, I mean, you have advantage, fair enough, you give it a go, and you're ahead by 11 points, but yeah, just a bit ugly, really.
3.5 minutes to play.
Yeah, let's go, please.
They have been so much louder, this capacity crowd, in the last 20 minutes or so, ever since England was sparked back into life by Ellie Kildon, who is still with us. Moving better now, it's got to be said, but there will be plenty of questions asked in the week as to the health of their Rolls Royce of a fullback.
Yeah, it could be something just like a dead leg when you've been carrying like that, which are horrible, but you recover quickly from them.
England knock it on off
the line has ended for me because it's in the mole, so it's a scrum here. Knock on.
So France will have the defensive scrum. It will take something absolutely miraculous at this stage. They have 3 minutes to make up 11 points as Ellie Kildon is awarded the Player of the Match award.
She always gets player of the match because she has moments of brilliance, but I think it would have to go to a forward today. The fact that they have absolutely won this game for England.
Abby Ward perhaps for the line-out steals and that big old turnover.
Yeah, and her score as well. Yeah, just it's got to be a back that's picked it is all I'm going to say.
Well, I can tell you that is a former All Black Sevens captain who picked the awards, and so he's always going to pick the Seven superstar, isn't he?
Yeah,
it's rigged. Right, here we go. Alexandra Chambon is on wearing 21 for France, so she, the replacement scrum half, will feed this blue combine harvester before us. 5 metres from their own try line. The game surely out of reach for them. 2.5 minutes remaining. England go early, so the free kick goes to France. Condé ships it on to Bourgeois, who gets her head down and with a flicking ponytail carries hard at Helena Rowland. Tackle made and Rowland is back on her feet like a jack in a box. Marine Ménager steps in touch upon receiving that ball and she throws it down in disgust because she knows that was the moment.
Well, I think she's a quality player, but she's lost her head a little bit with the decisions she's made in the last couple, like doing the volley on the kick and then just stood in touch when she received the ball.
England continue to waste time as their number 15 is officially announced to the stadium as the player of the match, and she is on the big screen there. Cowboy celebration in full flight, but on our little screen before us is a very perturbed looking John Mitchell because he has a week to do quite the upcycle job with this England side. Atkin Davies, we've said this before, we've said it again, finds her woman, and the white pack is to within 10 now. England 28, France 17. There are 11 points in it, 90 seconds between England and a spot in their own World Cup final. Canada are lying in wait with sharp claws and fangs and a pretty much clean bill of health. Aitchison dribbles it through, it bounced off the sticks. Meg Jones gathers. She doesn't like to do things the conventional way, does Meg Jones. The assist off the post protector. England have a fifth.
I'll tell you what, Meg Jones has played nearly every minute of every game. She is such a worker. She'd be a contender, actually, if you were looking at one of the backs. Her work rate, she's got 3 turnovers, I think, this game, and just reads the game so well. Chasing this, it bounced off the post, the kick. She regathers and scores. And then a bit of showboat into the camera there as well.
Thank you.
Well, at this stage, England can showboat. They can afford to because the game is done. France will exit the World Cup. They trail 17 points to 33, perhaps soon to be 35, because Zoe Harrison has been absolutely flawless in this department today, and that could well prove crucial. Seconds remain on the shot clock. Cleanly dissects the upright. 5 tries, 5 conversions. England just need to see this one out unscathed now.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, another great game with no TMOs coming in and stopping it, no cards. It's flown very well in terms of speed of it.
10 seconds remain. England have the ball. That looked to have been knocked on a little bit through the breakdown there, but it's Bayanati who has it now. Carrying up to the 10-metre line inside their own half. Clock is red. England can get this thing gone, and you would not be surprised if they do exactly that. Packer back onto Harrison. The stands erupt. England have done it. They are off to the big dance at the home of English rugby, and they are 80 minutes from dreamland. They're into their 9th World Cup final, where Canada awaits. France are consigned yet again to the bronze medal playoff, but the scenes, Cat Merchant, tell you an awful lot. Despair for Les Bleus, and for England, elation with a healthy dollop of relief.
Yeah, relief definitely at that point, because coming into this game I said England would win comfortably by 20. They've won by nearly 20, but there was nothing comfortable about it. France really did push them into that, but I think England needed that. They needed to have someone challenge them in different ways going into the final, because Canada will absolutely bring it to them.
If you were John Mitchell, if everyone is fit and ready to go on Wednesday night next week when you select your team for the World Cup, would you change anything? We know he loves consistency.
He won't do it, but I would start Lucy Backer. I thought she should have. I would have started her in the semi. Would have started her today. I think her performance when she came on in the quarter-final was really good. Really gave England a boost. He won't do that, but that's what I'd do. What else would I do? Depending on, well, you can't, I guess, bring the rest of them. I guess you keep Tatiana Hurd would be the one. Maybe do they have Holly in at 12 instead? But then that is getting rid of that consistency, which she does seem to like.
There were points today where they went back to Route 101. They know that when times get tough, if they can manage territory well enough, they are almost unrepellable from 15, from 10 metres. Can we expect to see a lot of that next week? And were you convinced by how they executed in that department?
So, can you repeat that? Sorry.
Were you convinced by the way that England executed when it came to rolling mauls, to getting close and just muscling up?
But the only caveat I'd have in there is Canada's set piece is very, very, very good. So they won't get to bully like they did with France. They've destroyed France's scrum at times. They really pressured France's line out. I don't know if they get the same level of success out of that against Canada.
There is also, with all of this, the unquantifiable thing of pressure.
Yeah.
So Canada, none of this crop, apart from Tyson Bukaboom and Karen Packham. So of the 23, 2 of Canada's athletes have ever experienced a World Cup final before. It is uncharted territory for so many of them, but they don't have the scar tissue of this England cohort. They don't have the expectation of them that the English cohort have. Which mindset do you think is easier and more comfortable?
I think the fact England aren't facing New Zealand, that is a mindset for them that they just can get rid of that. They don't need to think about it. But the only thing would be if, and I can't imagine they can be complacent because they've not been performing well enough to be complacent. But that would be the only thing that possibly could bring them down.
England have beaten Canada 4 times since the last World Cup. Some of them have been tight. The last meeting in October in WXV1, England really thought, by all accounts, that they could have lost that game right up until the final minute. It was so tight. They couldn't keep 15 players rather on the pitch. Have Canada improved since then?
Yes, Canada have absolutely peaked at the right time. England have got worse since last year and Canada have got better.
That's a scary prospect.
Yeah.
It gives some comfort to England fans out there, if you agree with me. Do England have the ability to flick the switch, to hit the heights that we saw in 2024 and to match Canada?
Well, I really hope so. So all I can say right now, because looking on the 2 finals from today and from yesterday, Canada was standout the performance team.
Ellie Kildana is being interviewed just before us, and you can see tears glistening in her eyes, but there's a real sense of defiance. There's a real sense of determination about what it is that she's saying. We've just had her statistics flashed up on screen. 5 carries, 2 tries. You asked a big game of her and she did deliver.
I think she is a big game player, is Ellie. She loves all of this. Like, there are players that don't mind the crowd and they're just focused on their game, but she loves the drama of it all. She is one of those players that does thrive off it. So I think it was important she had a good performance today, because I don't think, being honest, in the pool stages we didn't really see Ellie Kildana at her best. But that moments of, she's got the ball off a loose kick on the floor, she steps 2 players, she scores, that's what you need. That's what you need in your back 3.
John Mitchell is out on pitch in what his trademark Dementor-esque long black coat. He's hugging all the players and you can really see the emotion out there. That rattled them, that was difficult, but you suspect they'll be better for it. And out there amongst them are a couple of really experienced operators. Emily Scarrett, we haven't seen her since the opener. Marley Packer hardly had an opportunity, but over the next week, how key are they going to be in camp?
Yeah, they're gonna. I don't think they'll be in the final squad, but the fact that they'll be supporting these women, and they'll be talking them through it, and actually just having those people around, those calm heads that are around in training. If things start going wrong, they can bring them in, and I think they're so key. And not everyone's role has to be playing in a World Cup final to have been part of it. You all have that part. You really do have to have it as a squad, and it's so important, the balance of that.
Well, they're thanking the fans now, led by Abby Wards, who had a towering afternoon all in white, applauding the fans who rise to their feet and wave their flags in response. So Allcroft is looking very animated down in the interview position in front of us. And final question on England, Kat, and then I promise we'll stop being mean about them. But we've also got 2 of the assistant coaches, and Sarah Hunter defence and Lou Meadows attack. Which will be more concerned? Because it also looks, just looking at the notes in front of me that I took during the match, you look at France's scores from Condé, from Arbe, from Condé again, some of them were soft.
Yeah, England's problem is defence out wide. We said this last Six Nations, they really, when teams do take it to them, out wide they look vulnerable, is what I'd say. Now, however, their defence up by the try line, next level. They manage to just hold out, and then quite often they'll get a turnover in that area. So I would say attack would be more concerning than defence, I think, because again, England, but again, like, we're not trying to be harsh on England here, because they've just played pretty poorly, as you said it, and they have put away a French team, and they really have, they put them to bed in the end there. So it's scary. Imagine what they could do if they were as good as we know they can be.
Well, let's talk about this French team, because Marie Ménager is giving an interview now in absolute floods of tears. We've known since May she was going to be retiring after this competition. Her sister, Romain Ménager, is on an indefinite stand-down period due to repeated concussions. It's a really emotional day for the entire family, and they've both been outstanding servants in blue. Sarah Orchard used an expression in the week that really struck me. Are we looking at a bit of a lost generation of French talents, given all that they haven't achieved, given how brilliant they could be?
And that's the thing, and you know, we touched on this beforehand. Individually, there are world-class players that if you put a world team together, a lot of those French players make it, and they do. But as a team, they underperform consistently.
There are 4 of last week's matchday French squad that were in the Six Nations team of the championship. Only England had more. They finished second in pretty much every edition of it. They've beaten New Zealand this cycle. They beat the Black Ferns only 2 years ago. They are outstanding, dominant forces on the Seventh Circuit when it comes to the Northern Hemisphere outfits. There's so much talent in there. I wonder if we will see a coaching change off the back of this World Cup.
Yeah, I think it needs one, because I think it just needs change. They need change because it's the same thing time in, time out. A French team doesn't show up to major tournaments, doesn't show up when it really counts. And they needed to. They've been undercooked this whole World Cup. The Ireland game, that was messy. They should have. Realistically, I think they're 3 tries better than Ireland, but they certainly didn't play like that. So yeah, they have consistently underperformed.
They could use playing some rugby outside of major championships, because they had just that one warm-up, and they don't really play test matches when it's not WXV or the Six Nations. They're not battle-hardened.
No.
It's the demands of their domestic league. I understand the scheduling issues are there, but they don't get enough minutes together en masse, and I think serious questions will be asked of their coaching setup. They will be hurting badly, but arguably they will be hurting less than the Black Ferns, who believed that the title was theirs to be won, and that they would be playing at 4 o'clock, not 12:30 next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there were still players in that French team that they would have been hopeful, but I don't think they believed. I think they did all believe at one point in the middle of the game, but they knew fundamentally that they weren't going to knock England out, because as we've seen, England can play below average and still pull it together when you need to, because you don't need to win pretty, and especially now it's World Cup final time. Play as ugly as you like. If you win, doesn't matter. No one cares how you got there. Just win.
Thank goodness, because it was not an oil painting that England put out there today. So who takes bronze in your opinion? Which one can recover and perform best in the match that no one wants to find themselves in?
New Zealand. France now just go done with it. I can't see a world in which New Zealand crumble enough to lose 2 games in a World Cup.
So I'm not comparing these as performances, because France were beaten 40 points to 6 by England in their warm-up, and England have just ran out winners in a high-pressure World Cup semi-final. You know, these are the upper echelons of the sport. But after that warm-up match, the French coaches recognised that what their players needed was just time away from rugby. They couldn't fix anything in the following week. They just needed time with their families to decompress, to allow their bodies to recover. Do you think England could use something similar this week ahead of the final?
Yeah, no, because they've got things that they just need to fix on the pitch. Kick-off receipts, got to go and work on those. Got to make sure that those are sorted. Backs, maybe it's something like, right, just go and hang out together and actually just spend some time together and just almost relax into it, because they are world-class backs. You can see it whenever an individual gets the ball on a loose play, like Kilden did twice, 2 scores. So we're not doubting their ability, but the link play between them just isn't quite there.
And in a week, how much of a difference can you make to that? Bearing in mind, I go back to this, they were playing sensationally together 12 months ago.
Yes, last year, watching them in WXV, I just was like, there is no team in the world that can beat England. It's just that they cannot get beaten. When I was watching at that time, this World Cup, you could just see that I think Canada on form beat England if England do not show us what we know they can do.
And if Canada go on to do so, would that be not the biggest upset in World Cup history, but do you think in terms of narrative, in terms of sheer plot, Canada crowdfunding themselves to the top of the World Cup podium would be one of the best stories we've ever seen?
Oh, I think if you're not English, everybody is rooting for Canada. Everyone is. England are rooting for England, but everyone else, the story is fantastic. The performances they put in, also fantastic.
That's the voice of Kat Merchant, World Cup winner, alongside me. England are 80 minutes away from 11 years on, equaling that feat. That will take place at the Allianz Stadium in Twickenham at 4 p.m. 12:30 is when the bronze medal match kicks off. We'll be bringing you updates of that, and you can watch full coverage on BBC iPlayer. It's a sellout, so we know that the previous attendance record for a women's standalone rugby match is going to be absolutely shattered, and they haven't yet announced who the warm-up acts musically will be. I've got my fingers crossed for Chapel Roan, but I'm pretty sure the budget doesn't stretch that far. Kat's going to be sticking around. We're going to be recording an On the Whistle podcast for you to enjoy on BBC Sounds or wherever you get your podcast from, and there will be so much build-up in the week ahead of England versus Canada, the big one next Saturday. Thank you so much for joining us, and we are going to hand you over with love to our team at the cricket, because it is Hampshire up against Worcester in the One Day Cup final. So to everybody at Trent Bridge, good afternoon and thank you in advance.
Side of me. And Michael Carberry, just like the weather, breath of sunshine. Look at that, there's a bit of sunshine there, Carbs.
Look at that timing, Timing's everything.
Great timing. Probably about as good a weather as we've had at any point today. How long it will last?
We just ride that horse, mate. Ride the train.
But you've got your coat back on, which is slightly worrying. It suggests you might know something we don't. Here's Fuller to Latigan. Bowls. Latigan edges. But there is no slip. And it's gone fine. And below us, it's Andrew Neil to do the fielding. And that is a single. Well, the momentum's all Worcestershire here.
Yeah, absolutely. They've started well.